Yo, what is up, everyone? How are you guys doing? Welcome back. It's been a while since we've done this. I think it's been a month, and I'm so sorry about that. But welcome back to another See You Next Tuesday, where we're going to be going over Parasocial Activity, the brand new movie that came out. We're going to be criticizing it at fucking crazy levels. I feel a bit autistic to the level that I want to criticize this thing, but we're gonna get at it. Let me just play this intro and we'll get started after that. Okay, I don't know what's going on. Hi,
Oh no,
chat.
what's happening?
Hi, chat. How bad
Looks
is
good to me.
how bad is the lag on your guys' end?
Let me check.
Oh, there's a little bit of lag.
It should be leveling off now, but I think I fixed it, but I'm not 100% sure. It's been a little minute.
Oh,
I'm rusty. I will admit.
Now, but I think I fixed it. But
There's about 15 seconds of lag. It's not that
That's
bad.
fine. Yeah, it's fine. We can deal with that.
Yep. Hi,
So
I'm Dave.
sorry about the technical difficulties, everyone. Hi, everyone in chat. What's up, Michelle? Rude Mud Crab. Wetwood. Soaring. Not that Christine. Avius. How you guys doing? Thanks for coming by. We are going to be looking at this movie that I have on the screen. I don't know if you guys all have seen the picture that Sean has graciously provided us with.
Yes.
It is a fantastic movie trailer, movie quality trailer thing. So I think this movie is going to be very interesting to go over, you know?
Yeah. We're film critics now. It's our
We're
new
film
calling.
critics. We're film critics now. That is our thing. We're going to be breaking down this movie at an autistic level.
Correct. It's gonna be new. Yeah, let's try out this new format.
Yep.
See how
Let
this
me
goes.
Pull this up. And let's move over to our other screen. Ooh, fantastic.
I still have another stream open and I need to find it. Ah, there it is. Okay, got it.
Still saying we're having a lag, but you're saying that we don't have it, so
I'm not seeing an extra lag, just the base lag that I was talking about, the 15 seconds.
yeah, that's fine.
Should be good. I have way too many things open. I'm working on closing some.
But with this, as many people know, that Flow State sponsored this conversation between NPC and Mel Pandora, so he is our producer today. And
That's hilarious.
we're going to be seeing how this all played out, and we're going to be calling out some shit that I think is important to call out, because honestly, if we can go into the first part without even starting the video, if you guys want to talk about the illusion of explanatory depth that these people have, if you guys want to go into that, but otherwise we can go through it as we go. But I don't know how you guys feel about that.
Define the whatever you just said, because I want to know what you mean.
Okay, so it is pretending like you know more than you do.
Oh, like had I pretended like I understood what you meant there?
Yeah. It's related to like kind of like the Dunning-Kruger effect, but it's based on knowledge, not ability, where the
Gotcha.
Dunning-Kruger is more on ability. So that would be the differences between those two things. But
Good to know.
that's going to be what we're mainly criticizing today, because I think she arrived at some really crazy conclusions. I did pre-watch, obviously. I have a shit ton of notes to go through today. So this is going to be
I know nothing.
This is going to be a long one, people. This is going to be a long one.
So this is going to be very live for me.
Yeah. So let's get started. Let's just jump
Sure.
in.
Let's jump in. Just jump in.
Yeah. Also, let's link
Who would have
the Powder Dusty in
thought, right?
the chat.
The Powder Dusty
You can keep going. I just wanted to link the
is
Powder
the
Dusty chat.
sponsor for the Mel Pandora conversation. You know? Shout out to him and all the other sponsors. Get them in the back. Get them in the back. And it's a special day once again in the chat. Everybody in the chat, appreciate you. Moz, appreciate you. Just the thing, as you all know, there's some new faces here. We keep it respectfully here at NPC the Game live streams. I get it. People have their opinions and whatnot. I respect that. However, I got one rule tonight. Stick to the topic at hand. What the chat, what we're talking about here, because it's an important parasocial social relationship. Stick to the topic at hand, that's fine. But any negativity, toxic hating, you're gonna get timed out. And that goes for mods too, which I don't think will be a problem, because if you really do have a problem, and if you're a mod tonight, take a day off. It's all good. Take a day off, man, because it's not worth it. Because I look at this as this is my home, you know. I let you guys in. Respect it, all right? So with that said, this is a being, Mel Pandora, who has done it all, man. she is still the queen of the panelverse.
Okay,
You know,
we should comment on that.
She's taken on the
That's fucking
institution.
delusional.
Well, first, I want to
Church
comment on
she's-
the
Does it all,
format here.
And today we're going to talk about
I'm not a
parasocial
big
relationships.
fan of
So,
the
without further
background
ado,
music.
the legend.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a little loud. Like I get it to try to build the intensity.
Yeah.
But he's like also trying to calm himself, his voice, so it's conflicting and very weird,
Yeah, it is.
causing a state of unease.
And I am so sorry that the stream is doing all sorts of weird shit today. I've tried to fix it as much as I can. I have green bars on my end. I don't know what's going on.
I'm gonna test on my phone while we're going.
I feel OBS too much.
Sound down. Sound down. There we go. That actually sounds like I don't even have a lag on my phone anymore, hardly.
I think it just tried to catch up to the 15 seconds, and I don't know what to tell you guys. Sometimes it's gonna drop frames, sometimes it's not. It's just doing the thing today. But yeah, what up, Joe Cool?
Yo, hey.
The comment on the queen of the panelverse. I don't know if you can inherently be a queen if you've been run off from somewhere. So I don't know if that logically tracks.
The queen in exile.
Yeah, I guess. Like, to be 100% honest, as much as like the panelverse says, like just a small knit group, I would say like Sarah is probably doing the best out of most people or in that group.
100%.
Right? Like
She's been
killing
getting
it
bigger and
recently.
bigger every stream.
Yeah, she's been killing it recently, and I'm just like, what the hell is happening? But
honestly,
major
Neve
props.
has done really well too for like gaining viewership every time she streams. I just wish she would stream a little bit more.
yeah, she streams as consistently as I do, and that's crazy.
Well, you were pretty consistent for a while. We were hitting every Tuesday.
Hey, shit happens sometimes, you know. Like real life
I
happens.
understand. It's happened in my life as well. So neither of us were able to be there for all the same weeks, pretty much.
Yeah, but just to comment on that, the Queen of the Paddleverse thing, I'm just like, oh man, it already shows like the level of bias we're gonna be getting here. Like he gave the warning at the beginning, and I get. Like, here's the thing. I get trying to keep someone on, right? Like, you have to be nice to keep someone on your show for something that would be kind of confrontive, at least a bit. So,
Confrontational?
yeah. But there's a way to do it where it's not necessarily, like, you have to be an asshole about it, right? Like, but
Yeah.
you don't
No,
have to
I get what you're
suck
saying, but
the other person's dick.
There's
about it.
I was gonna say there's a difference between glazing and giving people their proper respect.
Yeah.
Because like even if you hate somebody, you can give them their proper respect. Like,
Yeah.
I don't like. We'll use Nancy Pelosi, but she still has been a senator for a long freaking time, and that's respectable.
Yeah. So let's continue. I just wanted to comment on that because I thought that was a wild statement to make.
So a little bit, yeah. Queen of the panelverse.
It's crazy.
Is she even panelverse? I don't know. I don't even really know what the panelverse is.
She was. I assume. I think it's just the three major heads were before Sarah, Flo, and Mel, but now it's brought to those two, I guess, only.
Mm-hmm.
If I can interject, though, he might just be being hyperbolic to be nice. So
Maybe
Maybe.
that could be a possibility.
Maybe he's being sarcastic. That would be great, but not him.
But let's continue.
Remember, this man is not my favorite.
Yeah, he is not. I know.
Yeah.
Not a great judge of character here, but let's go.
Yep.
Herself, Mel Pandora. Good to have you.
Hey, how you doing,
Going
NPC? Hi, chat. Hi, everybody. Unfortunately, I can't comment because I've privatized my YouTube channel, which means I can't comment. So I'm not ignoring everybody. Hello to everybody, and I'm really, really excited about being here. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing great. It's great to have you. This is something that we've talked about.
Hold up.
You know,
What?
off the off the live.
I just want to comment on the I've
Thanks, everybody,
privatized my YouTube so I can't comment. Like, you can comment if you have a private YouTube, and if not, you just make a second YouTube account for commenting.
Yeah. You just make a burner.
That's the dumbest point I've ever heard.
No, she just doesn't want to engage. It's just,
That's the worst excuse ever.
She just doesn't want to engage.
What?
But I honestly, nitpicking at her like stupidity is just amazing to me, because it's like there's just so much that you can go
There
for.
is.
So,
But the question is, does she actually think that she can't? Maybe she actually believes that she can't comment because she's privated her YouTube account. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure she knows. I'm pretty sure she has an alt. I would guarantee she has an alt that she can comment under, but she just refuses to because she doesn't want people to know that I have an alt.
Or she just doesn't want people to know who the alt is.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
She's been commenting the whole time.
Exactly. It's just like whatever.
I have alts, but they're all pretty freaking obvious.
Yeah. Like if you see something insect related, it's probably me.
Like Neve? Queen Bee?
No, she's not insect related.
Mantis.
Mantis?
That might be me. But let's continue.
Oh God.
Parasocial relationship.
It does. And I feel so inspired. Since I've stepped back, I've really felt inspired, and I've spoken to you about this, to write a dissertation or a thesis, and I'm definitely taking this into real life. In what respect?
Okay. Pause.
This year, so
damn, we're gonna be pausing a lot tonight.
Yes.
Okay, so I don't. Many people don't know this, but a dissertation versus a thesis, that these are like master's or doctorate level, documentation methods for like research. So in the EU, it is like switched over, where a dissertation is used as a master's, where a doctorate would be using a thesis, and in America it's the other way around. I would expect someone who is looking into getting a master's degree would know these like basic concepts and not just fucking say, I'm gonna write a dissertation or a thesis. Why am I saying theses?
I don't know, because she said theses or something. I don't know.
A thesis. I'm gonna say it the American way.
Well, also a thesis can just be the beginning of any report, is like your thesis statement. Like it outlines what you're going to talk about. But you wouldn't just say, I'm going to write a thesis, unless you're doing a pitch of a paper. I guess you could start with a thesis and present that.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to give a little bit of benefit of the doubt on this.
She talks about getting her master, so it's not
okay.
Yeah, it's just like you should probably know the difference and do like baseline understanding on like what you're talking about before coming out here. What up, Locksmith?
Yo, Jeremy, hi. And Wetwood.
I said hi to Wetwood. He was in here earlier.
Oh, okay. I missed that. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. I just wanted to point out the differences, just because I think it's important for her to know that. If she watches this, she'll probably know more about the subject at hand than when she fucking decided to say, I want to be an advocate for this.
What's she going for a master's in? Did she say? Or maybe we'll get to that.
We'll get to that.
I haven't watched
astrology.
Oh, please God, no.
It's not astrology. It's like social dynamics. I think
I caught part of Neve's stream, and I know he's gonna mention astrology stuff, and I'm not excited for that.
Yeah, no, or we're not gonna break that down, because I don't have 4 hours to sit here and explain to you why astrology is dog shit and no one should ever use it. So let's just continue. But it is on. I think it is social dynamics is her goal to get her master's. So, what up, crazy mama?
Of social media with the parasocial relationships and all that. This year, I'm going to take it to Parliament.
Yep, she's going to Parliament.
Hey, Leopard.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa.
What up, Leopard?
That's real life. Now that's real life right there.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So
Really? What was the motivation for that?
Well, it was my experience on YouTube, really, that motivated me. And, we always used to talk about on the panels about the dangers of social media.
This is kind of crazy, though. Going to Parliament?
It's all good talking about it. People can have...
So when she says going to Parliament, does she mean she's going to,
conversations,
run?
She's going to explain
I'm going to take actions against it. And I'm going to be doing bills, and I'm going to be, proposing that there's changes made on social media.
Okay, so we can pause here.
Wow.
She's gonna be taking actions and proposing bills is what her steps in Parliament are gonna look like. Again, if you're gonna do this, I would expect you to have some baseline understanding on what the fuck you're talking about. Just coming on here and talking like this, like I'm going to Parliament, is basically saying that you're an expert in this and I should take you seriously. So that's what I'm doing. I'm taking you seriously.
Yeah, so to try to steelman it. So what she's saying is she's going to get her master's so that she has some level of certification, like some way to say I am an expert in this field, so that she can go present herself as an expert in front of Parliament to pitch bills to change the internet.
Well, at this point, I would even say that she is presenting herself as an expert from her experience on YouTube being the learning curve for her, and that's already like off the bag, right? Like if this is your level of experience with it, then that shouldn't make you an expert in it, and you shouldn't be saying I'm gonna go to Parliament to fucking...
Because I was gonna say that's such a small single angle anecdote of your tiny experience in this tiny section of the internet. That's really weird. Jeremy, it is Emp Dave with the little alien thing, Hornet with the little alien bug. The cool guy is Sean. And the S is Soaring. He doesn't talk a lot during these, but he is the tech guy.
He has a skill.
Plays everything.
What up, Allie? But yeah, coming in here and saying that you're going to Parliament is already presenting yourself as an expert, and we should take her seriously and break down her ideas seriously, which I decided to do. That's why we're doing this whole live, because I am gonna take her as seriously as I can and shit on her as she calls herself an expert. Because that's kind of
it is literally the highest escalation of I'm an innocent victim.
Yeah, accurate. But we can continue. I'm just pointing out that this is already like a level of the thing that we talked about at the beginning.
So is Soaring like our Jamie?
Yeah, he's our Jamie.
Oh, that's awesome. All right, Jamie.
I may not get anywhere. I may not get anywhere, but I'm definitely going to make some noise.
Yeah, because you have a history of this. You've done this before, right? You took them on like we said in the intro, the big boys, right?
Yeah, I've taken on the Catholic institution.
Hold on for 1 second.
Yeah.
The dioceses. I've taken.
We got to pause because, like Smith, Jeremy has to take a shit. So let's give him 5 minutes and just sit here.
What?
I'm totally kidding. Go. Sorry, I just had to make a joke. My bad. My bad.
I have implemented change, so I guess my experience on YouTube has.
Wait. Also, pause there.
What change?
Fuck. Okay, so if you're gonna give an example on how you've taken on a certain like structure, system, whatever, please provide examples. Don't just say I took on the Catholic Church in these schools. It's just like, okay, you're not telling me anything. You're just saying you took these things
How?
on. Like, what, did you stop going to church? I don't understand this logic.
Or did you have protests? Or did you take them to court for something?
Yeah, like has no explanation on anything that she's done.
Did she nail her thesis on the wall?
Yeah. Her thesis. I mean,
I just don't understand this logic of like saying I took on the Catholic Church and not fucking giving any description on this, like, at all.
I don't even understand what it means.
It means nothing. It means nothing at this point, and it's an irrelevant talking point. It's just being like, I did something, so take me seriously. Which, to be fair, I am taking her seriously today. I am criticizing her fucking ideas today as seriously as I can. So I'm giving her what she wants. It's just, I don't think this is what she intended.
Yeah.
So let's continue.
She wants to be taken seriously.
Things like just something. I really don't think that people with a criminal past should be monetized on YouTube. Just things like that. So I'm going to be lobbying for things like that. So
wait.
Yeah,
Okay, wait. So you're saying people with a criminal past? Wait, we got to stop that. That's a big one, man. Because a lot of people on YouTube probably have a criminal past and whatnot.
No, I know what you said. You said the other day, what about people that make mistakes and just want to make a better life for themselves? Absolutely. I think there has to be a screening process. There has to be a screening process. And I think that, because how many times do we hear about creators who con vulnerable people out of large amounts of money? We hear it a lot, right?
Yeah. Right.
So I think that, there should be a screening process. I don't think that just anybody should be able to make money on YouTube.
Yeah, but like that's what I said. Yeah, yesterday was there's people that make mistakes.
No
and,
idea.
We'll dive into this.
This might be the only.
I'm letting them finish up what they're saying.
Okay. Making YouTube video from their house or their car or whatever. So, that's what I was thinking. And I get it. It probably would, because there's a lot of bad hombres out there.
Yeah,
like scamming people and whatnot. But what about those people though? That's all.
Yeah, I mean, I've just heard, in the last few days that somebody, conned a vulnerable older person out of something like 20 grand or something on YouTube. And I think it's important. I think it's important that that there is some sort of screening process, and that will eradicate people conning people.
Okay, we can pause here.
Okay, this background music is gonna drive me insane.
Yeah, that's why pausing every now and again is gonna be good for us. Okay, so people with criminal past should not be allowed on these platforms.
That's insane.
That's her logic behind this. Like, honestly, her logic follows as simply as criminals cannot redeem themselves and should always be held to a higher standard than every other individual, right? Like, if you served your time, if you're going through a background check, obviously those people will be screened out. So even if you did the time and redeemed yourself in some way, you would still not be allowed on these platforms. I don't think she gets that logic, but
okay. Here's the other thing though. This is like the reverse of how most people attack something. Usually you state the problem you're trying to fix first.
Yep.
And then a route to do it. This is just, I want to punish people who have committed a crime even more. And then trying to justify doing that. It's so backwards from the way most people
We do that with guns, though.
Problem. Huh?
We take away felons' right to own firearms.
I agree. In a way. I don't know. I believe that's temporary. I'm not sure.
that is temporary.
If that's a permanent thing.
That is temporary. You can potentially get that
you
back.
can earn it back.
Yeah. You can petition to get that back at some point. It's not like a forever thing. But again,
But I mean, like,
what's
in
the
what way does having a criminal past disqualify you? Or like, what does it make you less capable of doing or more capable of doing than any other human being? in a YouTube space.
Well, like if we follow her logic, right? Like just following her logic that people get scammed on here, right?
Okay.
That would eradicate the scammers. But then when you look into any of this, right? I have it in my notes. It's hard to prove because any data regarding like scams or like fraudulent cases are probably going to be from like a tax evasion like centric place. So it's hard to prove like what a scammer is doing on the internet. Firstly, there's not really any data that she can use to follow this up. And I would also like to point out that instead of raising awareness about this person that scammed someone out of $20,000, she provides cover by not disclosing the person's name.
Yeah, which is weird.
Yeah, like you have a problem with this thing, but you don't give this person's name out so that people can be more aware of this person and actually not engage, but it's fucking retarded.
Jeez. Well, the other thing is like, I can understand the argument if you specifically say if you're convicted of X, being like scamming or like whatever the term would be for it, but there's zero reason why somebody who's been convicted of dealing drugs, will say, shouldn't be able to have a YouTube, or convicted of theft. Like, none of these have to do with conning people necessarily.
Exactly.
You know what I think, though? It should be up to like a judge, just like for very specific cases, like a court order to like stay off the internet for a certain amount of time or something like that.
That's already a thing.
Be a blanket.
That's already a thing. Yeah, like that's why I'm just like, if she's trying to advocate that these sites do these things just to anyone who's a criminal, then you're already against the plot, right? Like, you don't know what you're talking about. Like, you have arrived at a conclusion without asking any questions. Because we sat here for what is it, like a minute or two, and we have like already found so many fucking holes to this like little thing. And a lot of people are saying that this is a direct response to Flow State, because Flow is a criminal and would be kicked off the platform. And I agree, this is kind of a shot at him, but it's one of these things where it's just like, this doesn't make any logical sense if you're actually trying to propose this into some level of legislation, or trying to get these companies to actually do these things. Like, you need a compelling way to actually get this across, and this is just not it.
Yeah. And we all know what her target of it is.
Yeah.
Like Crazy Mama said, it's obviously targeted at Flo, who his conviction has absolutely nothing to do with conning people. So it doesn't even fit. Yeah.
It's just that's what she's using as her baseline for understanding this, right? Like, people
and that's
get
kind
scammed.
of why I said, like, her idea, if she wants to punish an individual, being Flo, for and trying to find a reason why. It is so weird.
Yeah, it's again arriving at a conclusion without asking any questions. It's not hard to figure out for most people to look at this and be like, oh, this is what you're talking about. But even just examining the idea on its face, like let's say like we remove Flow from it, it's still a dumb idea. It doesn't hold up to any level of scrutiny. So like this is just like this is retarded beyond retarded.
Ali, she probably won't mention that it refers to Flo. Flo just has a conviction for drugs at some point that he served time for and did his punishment, and he's fine now.
Yeah, she doesn't make a case for Flo. She just makes a case that people with criminal past shouldn't be allowed on YouTube because of scams. And again, how would you get rid of, like, what are you defining as a scam? Would you say that Andrew Wilson is scamming people, right? Would you say like a Flow State would be scamming people? Like, what is your definition of a scam at that point? Like, someone who's a grifter would be a scam, right? I guess that would be the line that she would want to draw through, but then like how do you define that? Like it's just this makes no sense. Absolutely no sense.
Like, is Crispy Treat a scammer?
Are we scammers because we have your tip on right now?
Yeah.
By the way, if you want to donate to the show, send money to Dave. I don't take.
I believe
money,
TTS is on as well.
Yeah, TTS is on.
So if you have something to say, you can say it through that. If we're not necessarily reading your chat and you're annoyed that we won't read your chat.
And I'd like to say that like something like proposing like that, and if it went through, would no pun intended, open like a Pandora's box of all kinds of other bullshit.
You're right though.
Yeah,
100%. Because then you start legislating who can and can't have a website, or presence on a website.
Yeah.
And that shouldn't be a parliament decided thing. That should be a YouTube decided thing, like it is.
Yep.
It'd be weaponized and all kind of stuff.
Now, a court can order somebody to not be online, to not engage in certain online activities.
Yeah, like the guy from the Silk Road
before,
right? Like the guy from the Silk Road is being heavily monitored, and he can't like use the internet as freely as anyone else can. Yeah, I agree that in cases where that's true, but that's already a thing. I don't know why you'd be advocating for that. You want to
also punishment in a lot of cyber stalking cases and things like that.
Yeah, you just want to punish more people on the same level that these people are being punished at, and it's just like, oh, okay, we just want to extend. And I know I've heard her talk about how British censorship is to unfair and blah, 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 because they can't talk about whatever is going on in their country, yada, yada, you know? So, like, it is so dumb that she's even advocating for this after complaining about, like, censorship, like, in the UK. This is not well thought out. In any fashion,
it's too broad. I mean, maybe. Granted, you've seen this. I haven't. Maybe she will narrow it and make it make sense, but I doubt it.
Nope. Unfortunately, chat, she does not narrow it down. She just kind of keeps it there. But we'll continue because she does talk about some other stuff.
Okay.
Scandals, not scandals, sorry, scammers.
That was a Freudian slip, by the way.
The scammers from YouTube.
Yeah, and so this push to go to Parliament. What do you need to do to?
Well, I still, because I've been busy with my new job, I haven't looked into ins and out. It's just something that I want to do. I want to do this year. I want to be lobbying.
Yeah.
Okay, pause. Just.
What else?
Pause. Just pause, please, for the love of God. Oh God. Look into something before talking about it on the internet, please. Just for the love of God. You look retarded. You look dumb. There's no way other to put this. I can't break that idea down. You look like an actual retard when you're like, I want to lobby, but I haven't looked into how to lobby at all. Like, the ideas itself is already dumb, but this is like next level. It's like, don't come on here and pretend like you're some sort of expert and fucking expect us to fucking take you seriously in any fashion. And again, the only reason I'm taking you seriously is because I want to sit here and call you dumb for 3 hours while explaining why you're dumb. That's the
on a serious level.
Yeah, that's the only reason I'm taking you seriously.
I'm not. I'm here just to crack jokes and make fun of things that I see that are stupid.
But we can continue.
This bill, besides the criminal background check, what else is it?
Well, I think
involved in it?
The social media companies need to take more accountability about what happens on their platforms, and they don't. You know, they'll have their policies, they'll have their terms and conditions, but they don't reinforce them. So, whereas normally I would never say this, and
okay,
but in this situation I will, is that if the social media companies don't take accountability, then I want the government to stop to moderate them. I want the government.
Okay. Pause.
Right. So
pause. Okay. Social media companies don't take accountability. Just a simple read through of these like terms of service and all these other things will show you that everything that's written out is basically shifting the responsibility over to the user as agreed upon when creating an account or using the site. You accept those terms. That's kind of the thing.
Mm-hmm.
You can't be mad at a company that says, hey, this is your problem if something happens, okay? And then when something happens, you're just like trying to blame the company. They were like, no, this you said you agreed to that.
And to be honest, the user has all the power in this situation too, because if you don't like the terms, you can just not use it. It's that easy.
Exactly.
You don't have to see anything on it.
You don't have to use their site. You don't have to access any of their shit. It's not something that is inherently pushed onto you as you can't operate in real life without YouTube, right? Like, that's not something that is a necessary component to your real life. But that's like, this should be something that's intuitively been not like knowledge, not just like inexplanatory knowledge where you have to actually look into it. It is like as simple as just fucking looking at your terms of service. But I guess we're not even doing the basics here. Like, we're not even trying to go beyond intuitive knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
But this is just so dumb. Oh my god, I don't know how we're 13 minutes in, guys, and we're already like what, 40 minutes in. Holy crap.
It's moving.
Let's keep going, otherwise we're gonna be here all day.
Oh god, this is a 3-hour video.
It's not something I would normally say.
Not be here the whole time.
Power, absolutely not. But one tries, right? One tries to do good. Sometimes they're successful, sometimes they're not. So
yeah, because it does seem like the government and these corporations, they use these social media. Like when you make an account, you're basically an actor. Not only are you a consumer of their good, which is the social media, but you become an actor for whatever they're trying to. You become a brand. That's another way to put it. You become a brand, and
right. And also, I think to
by your own volition,
like P-bombing. I also am a strong believer that, because when you're monetized, you have to upload all your personal details. I think that everybody on YouTube should have to upload their personal details.
What the hell?
You're not just an email.
Oh god.
Okay. I've argued this point a lot. I know people have heard me fucking talk about this, but let's just go at it one more time. One more time, guys. To eradicate P-bombers, everyone should upload their personal details. I don't know what the goal behind this is. I don't... Okay. Because here's the thing, Dave.
By P-bombing, she means people showing up on... Specifically, anybody who has live open panels, which is a very, very...
It's a niche.
Very small
it's a
percentage of what happens, like 0.0001.
Yeah.
Where they show up... They pretend like they're there for the show and engage. And then what they'll do is they'll switch their camera and just have some kind of porno playing.
Yeah.
That's what she means by a P-bomber. Or they'll stand up and show their junk. And she's trying to create legislation based on a very edge case.
Well, it's like let's expand it. Let's expand it, right? Because like, what is this? What is this actually?
Your ID.
Yeah, and again, it would have nothing to do with YouTube anyway.
Yeah,
Crap has a good point.
Yeah, it's a StreamYard issue, but like, let's just expand the idea, because I'm gonna give her the space to actually expand this idea and say why this idea is fucking retarded in general, right?
Oh, because, there's more.
Oh god. Because no, not what she's saying, but like, no, she's not gonna expand on it more. But what I'm saying is, I'm gonna expand her idea to like, let's just remove the P-bombing part and just be like, to eradicate all bad behavior on YouTube, right? What does this achieve? If we have everyone's personal information, people would be abusing it like the copyright system, where you get people's information because you fucking felt like it, right? Because people do that with the copyright system we already have in place. You're basically just creating a way to dox people in these, and it's ridiculous because it'd be doxing chatters, not doxing like creators at that point. You just want everyone doxed at that point. And
not only that, like you're forcing people to give up their personal information who just want to watch videos on YouTube. Like a large portion of YouTube watchers never comment or chat in any way. They just watch things, enjoy them, and have zero connection to the content.
Yeah, but I don't think that's who she's. I don't know if that's necessarily who she's referring to. I'll give her like the benefit of the doubt.
I know that's not what she's pointing to, but
yeah, but
they would still be affected by this if you're requiring everyone
to have some level of identification. Yeah, and the issue also becomes like at a larger scale. If we're looking like even further out, like you would have to allow this like multi-continental company to have access to multiple government systems to verify these IDs and birth certificates or whatever they're using to actually get this, because otherwise it would just be a dead system that you could just keep using over and over again. This idea itself, I've heard a lot of people fucking say this stupid idea that we should just start putting our IDs into stupid things, and I'm just like, why the fuck do you think this is a good idea in any fashion? And it's just because of like they think that because you have to upload your information when you're monetized, which is true, but that's because there's like taxation that you have to worry about that the companies actually has to think about at that moment, right? That's the reason they're doing that, not because of protections or any of this other shit. That's something they have to like. The cost benefit analysis for them was just like, okay, if we want creators on here, we're gonna have to do this and be able to pay out people, and that's the only way we can do it. But to have your ID uploaded just because you want to use their system, like I have never walked into a like park and they ID'd me, right? Like that, You're basically asking me to like go to a public place and basically be like, I have to ID myself at all times, which is dumb as fuck. No one should be okay with this idea and letting her get away with this. This is such, again, low level thinking. Like she again is just arriving to a conclusion without asking any questions.
Yeah, and to answer Ali's question of how big of a problem is this, it's insanely small, to a point where I don't believe anyone's ever gotten banned for somebody bombing them.
No.
P-bombing.
To
my knowledge, nobody's ever been banned for it. You have ways to fix it. People have lost their stream for it, like the stream that they were doing, because they had to delete it to get rid of the evidence. But I don't know of anybody to ever be banned for it, because you can't leave the stream up if that happened.
Yeah.
But YouTube's not going to punish you because somebody else came on your stream and did something. Just like if somebody pops on and drops an N-bomb, you're not getting banned for it.
You don't even have to delete it. Honestly, you just cut it out. And that's like True. That's as simple as that. It's just like, oh, this is removing all responsibility from like like someone who's actually running a panel. Like. It's like, okay, what are they supposed to coordinate at that point? Like, yes, you should know who's coming onto your show and verify that they're gonna like an actual person before actually letting them on your show. Most big creators, most small creators do this. It's not something that's complex.
Or making a fundraiser for somebody.
No.
Anyways.
Yeah. Okay, let's continue. Our brain is dying.
And you can get away with doing things like bombing. No, if everybody has to have ID to be able to comment, then I think it would eradicate a lot of the P-bombers, right? Because YouTube would know who they are.
Right, they would know who they are. Yeah.
What would that do? And, wait, also, what would that do? YouTube knowing who they are, what would that do?
Nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
Here. To be honest, it would do exactly what she wants it to do, though. Give you a path to
dox the person.
Then find the person's information and find a way to use that to get justice. Whether that's through the legal system, through calling them or doxing them.
Yeah.
As we know, she's not afraid of doxing.
Yeah, that's why I'm just like, it would just be to dox them. This is such a stupid fucking... And it's so dumb that she doesn't think that that's the logic train that she's using, and it's so easy to point out.
What logic train?
There's
Oh yeah, YouTube definitely knows who we are because they're tied in with Google, and Google has all of our information through the Gmails that we're normally signed up for this in, and everything else.
It seems like she just made a list of like top 10 things. Like, I don't like this. I don't like this. I don't like this. No thought involved.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But again, like we said at the beginning, it's going to be an illusion of explanatory depth.
Mm-hmm.
So let's let her continue to roll this ball of dung across this field. Jamie.
He's working on it, I think.
We looking at.
We're
looking at the parasocial relationships, and
we're finally at the meat and potatoes of it.
There's a correlation between depression and social media. The more you're on social media, the more depressed you become. Those are facts. So I think, and it's very easy to fall into pit holes, right? It's very easy to follow the crowd. And I think a lot of the time people behave how they behave online. They would never behave in that manner in real life because there would be accountability, right? And that's why I think, sometimes...
God, we can't even get through two sentences. Okay.
Yeah.
There's a correlation between depression and social media. Like, here's the thing. That statement is true, but it's true in a way where you have to look at it like through a certain lens, right? These are due to like factors like cyberbullying, social comparison, and like the pressure to maintain an online image. Like these are like going to be your like big factors on why like it leads to depression in some ways. But when we look at it like in an abstract way, these aren't like phenomenons that are exclusive to the internet, right? Bullying exists outside. Social comparison is very much in real life, and maintaining a public image is just something that you have to do. So like this isn't a unique concept. So like what is the actual issue that we're seeing with social media, right? And like there's like a shit ton of studies behind this.
If you go through it, I doubt YouTube would be a large part of any of it. I believe it would mostly be having to keep up your Instagram constantly, having to have a presence on I almost said Twitter, X, things like that. Like Twitter, trying to keep up with the constant posting and the engagement with everybody and being judged.
Yeah, and also, like, again, there are studies that pretty much outline this. I think I have one written down here. In 2020, there are an estimated 3.8 social media users worldwide, representing the half the global population, as in the study We Are Social 2020. Recent studies have shown that individuals with mental disorders are increasingly gaining access and using mobile devices such as smartphones, and then it lists off all these studies. If you guys want the link, I'll put it in the chat for you guys, so you can refer to that. But just
backing up your logic with studies. Yes, that's dangerous.
So if you guys want to look into that, you can. It's no sweat off of my back, but it's just basically explaining that people with mental illnesses are increasingly, so they're coming to these platforms with these illnesses. It's not the illness, not the social media thing creating mental illness. Like,
is there a thing in that study that it's like there's more people with mental illness coming to social media because social media is creating more people with mental illness? Or?
No, it's people with mental illness are going to social media more often.
And I know, like, I just like to say that, like, I think it all boils down to expectation versus reality, which is in no way unique to social media.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
But here's the claim that a lot of people like to make, that social media ruins your brain because it causes all these mental illnesses. And then when we look through like any stats or any like actual data or any articles, blah blah blah, we see that these people have arrived at social media with these disorders and mental illnesses or whatever, and are using this as some sort of coping mechanism, right? And that's kind of that would be the issue that you want to highlight, not that these sites are creating these things, because then you've already lost like half of the like fucking data that you're looking at. Like, and here's the thing, like when you look at like fixes for these types of things, it's typically going to be more in the limit your usage, try to stay off of it. It goes on to the personal responsibility aspect of the thing when they try to actually address these things. So it doesn't come from a governmental or how these social media companies conduct themselves. It's about you using this tool wisely.
Well, could social media be a way that easier facilitates mentally unhealthy people, and it just looks like it's more of a problem than it is in reality?
Because it's not that it easily facilitates them, right? I think so. Mentally ill people are going to be everywhere, right? The only reason
it gives them more of a voice, though. Right?
It doesn't, because like here's the thing, like if like just using the small like let's put the scope in and look at like these panels, right? If we look at like how a crazy person conducts themselves on a panel and says crazy shit, they're still ostracized from communities. No one wants to be around them. Yeah, like it's like you get the same treatment that you would outside of the internet that you do inside the internet. People don't want to engage with you in any way.
Well, could you come up with like a comparable scenario to social media outside of it, like a bar or school, or like basically the same thing going
on? It's the same thing. It's any social gathering situation. Like, so if you sound crazy, you're gonna most likely be like turned away.
It does kind of make me think, this is a total tangent, but I'm curious. It's possible that the things that make people think that social media is like rotting your brain might just be people figuring out how to get things to your brain better. Like, for example, just, you know how like the Subway Surfers and things like that are in the background of like almost every short and like TikToks, like all those kind of things. They have like the random scrolling video doing something while they're talking over it. Right? Yes? No?
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, at first, people were thinking that was causing like a shorter attention span, but they've also found some schools that I found out are using this. There's a website where they can upload their lectures the same way, and you can choose what background thing you have, like Minecraft jumping or whatever. So I think it's found a way to get the information into somebody's brain who has things like ADHD that make it very hard to focus on something, because you're automatically drawn to whatever's going on.
Yeah.
So it gives them something else to focus on while they're still paying attention and keeping it in their brain. I know that's completely tangential, but
yeah, that is tangential, but it is.
I would just like to say we're like only 15 minutes in, and maybe we need to limit the side tangents.
Sorry. I was just had that thought and I wanted to vocalize.
Yeah,
it.
no, it can be used in that studies highlights like the positives behind it and the negatives behind it. But that's kind of like that's kind of the point that I'm trying to make, that if you're gonna read into this and try and use this as your like backbone, please look into like the positives and negatives of things and seeing what's actually happening instead of just like intuitively saying like the internet is causing people to go brain dead, right? Because that's like intuitively that seems right, but when you look into it, that doesn't seem to be the case.
And I'd also like to make the comment, like, we're all prone to this kind of like thinking.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So we could continue. I just wanted to highlight that point because it's just like, okay, can we do a little bit of research here?
Like a playground for narcissists or a playground for people who are just full of shit. And where in real life they can't behave that way because they'll get ostracized from community or their family or the law. You know, I think definitely we need to regulate the the social media streets.
Okay,
so
just again pause. God damn it!
Like fucking
God.
This sounds like just more. I need to get rid of flow state.
Yeah. Here's the thing: playground for narcissists, and like people don't behave like this in real life. We already highlighted it, but let's highlight it again. That people do behave like this in real life. It just shows that she doesn't go outside very much or have very much social interactions. Because if you haven't met a crazy person in real life, then that's kind of like on you. It's the difference between actually knowing what the fuck you're talking about and actually trying to communicate what you're trying to communicate. I
don't want to give away where I work, but let's just say at my work, I see these people all the time.
And here's
Crazy
also
people.
something that I want to comment, because she says it's a playground for narcissists, right? That's mostly alluding to like creators not being or creators being too fucking stupid or too ignorant to self-regulate their communities, because I'm pretty sure most creators know how to get the fucking troubled people out of their fucking chats and all these other things, right?
It's also one of the annoying uses of clinical words for a colloquialism.
Yeah.
You obviously don't mean people who have been diagnosed.
Oh, no, she talks about malignant narcissism later on. She's talking about the actual diagnosis.
Oh.
So don't get it twisted. She's actually referring to...
I was giving her the benefit of the doubt that she's not just completely misusing the term and actually diagnosing people.
Yeah, it just shows that she has very little social interactions in real life. Like, if you behave this way, or even online, because like if you behave a crazy way online, guess what? You get removed from the communities that you're in, which she should know, because she was removed from a community because she behaved in a certain way. Like, this is not...
Unless you're that kind of crazy where you become more like a pet of the community.
Or you're laughed, but then you're laughed at. Like, that happens in real life too. Yeah, that happens in real life too. Like, that these aren't things that are exclusive to the internet. Like, I don't understand. I think people just need to fucking touch grass, to be 100% honest. Like, they need to actually go talk to people outside. And it's crazy because I'm a super online person, but I know these things because I actually go outside. What the fuck is going on with people if they can't like step outside and actually engage with their communities? Like, it's crazy. And then they go on this high horse of like, oh, the internet's bad. I'm just like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah.
This is just human interaction. And like, if you have a problem with how humans interact, then fucking, I don't know what to tell you. You're already like beyond the pale of like having any reasonable thoughts.
Oh.
But yeah, we can continue. I just wanted to touch on that because I just hate that shit.
Animals on YouTube, right? And so yeah, I there definitely has to be change. Otherwise, where's it going to go? And also, there's another other than Mel, absolutely. I have become an expert in parasocial relationships. That's why I am talking about it right now.
Can we pause?
Right.
An
Can we
expert
pause?
on parasocial relations.
So whoever said that,
We have to pause because listen, a lot of people would attribute that to a joke, right? Like that she's joking. But
I know her too well to know that's not a joke.
well, not even just that, Dave. Like, let's just remove it from that and like remove like all previous knowledge on her, other than this stream.
Okay.
She has come onto this stream saying, "I'm going to lobby for this." She is presenting herself as an expert because you don't lobby for shit unless you know something about the thing.
Oh, I guess yeah. That is a point.
It's not. Oh god, this is just not any level of normal person thinking.
Hornet.
Do you think she knows what?
An expert?
I'm not an expert, but like I'm not going to sit here and explain that I'm an expert, right? Like I'll sit here and give you sources on things that I've read and things that like I think and like explain my thoughts out as coherently as I can. But I'm not sitting here being like I'm an expert in social psychology or like understanding the human fucking dynamics between all interactions. No, I'm not going to sit here and do that. But what I am going to do is I'm going to say, hey, from these studies that I'm reading here, this seems to say that you're fucking wrong in these instances, and it doesn't seem like you've done any level of research beyond fucking just intuitively saying this thing. Because I'm gonna rely on actual experts to actually give me data.
Dave. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So, do you think she's broadly talking about parasociality or just in the realm of YouTube?
Just in the realm of YouTube.
Okay.
She doesn't expand further because that's all her knowledge it bases on.
Because like parasociality's been a thing way before YouTube even existed.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that, Dave. We're gonna get to that. We're jumping the gun a bit here.
Okay. Well, I haven't seen this, so I don't know.
Yeah. Let's continue.
Go ahead.
it doesn't matter who it is. You are involved too if you're here right now, because everything's a parasocial relationship.
Okay,
this has been going on ever since the dinosaur media.
We can pause.
Well, you know,
we gotta set.
Being in somebody's chat is not a parasocial relationship. I'm sorry.
Yep. Parasocial relationships can be anything. Oh my god. Okay, so what we're gonna do here, we're gonna define parasocial relationships as they're defined, right? Parasocial relationships are one-sided relationships where one extends emotional energy, interest, and time, and the other party, the persona, is completely unaware of the other's existence. That is what parasocial relationships are. When you use a fucking word as a catch-all to all your fucking things, it means you do not fundamentally understand the thing you're talking about.
Yes. And this is why I hate when people use terms
that
have definitions just for something random and broad.
Like, wouldn't an example be like someone who's a fan of a celebrity and they develop a relationship in their head with that celebrity?
The Justin Bieber fans.
Yeah.
Like all those girls who had posters of Justin Bieber on their wall and believed that like they had a relationship with him or a future relationship.
They were believers, man.
Yeah, it could also be extreme as the Reagan assassination attempt, right? Where the guy thought the fucking singer was talking to him specifically to go assassinate Reagan. Like these are
what was the Mexican singer? Selena.
Yeah.
That's a clear-cut parasocial.
So these are things that like are parasocial and like just so fucking. If you're gonna talk about a subject for 3 hours, you should probably define it. You should probably have a definition on hand like we do, because if we're gonna talk about it for a while, have a definition with you, please, for the love of God.
Not me being in Flo's chat where Flo knows my name and is talking back. Like that isn't a parasocial or like relationship. If I am in, say, Destiny's chat and I'm messaging like constantly, and he reads one of my tweets, and I'm like, "Oh, me and Destiny are friends. We're besties." That's parasociality.
That's parasociality. Yeah. Oh, well, we can continue. It's just that's.
But one more comment: could being in someone's chat facilitate a parasocial relationship, but not just chatting?
It can, but again, it's the way he described it, where it's just like, if I let's say I acknowledge someone in chat and they automatically assume I'm their friend just because I acknowledge them. That's the parasocial aspect behind that.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Because a large part of it is it being one-sided as well. That is a huge part of it being a parasocial. So if you're talking back and forth with somebody, that's no longer parasocial, that's social.
Yeah. It's already that's just a social interaction. Like me and Dave have a social interaction. We're not parasocial.
Correct.
So we can continue. Yeah, I know that statement was just
with people having these relationships with the TV anchor or the host or the actor, and thinking like they really know these people, and these people care about them.
Well, as I said to you
before
earlier,
interaction.
Yeah, it's the first time really that we've been able to interact with TV, right? Because normally when something is being broadcasted on television, we watch. We're not able to interact. This is the first kind of time that we are able to interact with things that we're watching on television.
Right.
It's
pause, because she's technically correct here, where we can interact with a TV, but we've been doing call-in shows. Like the first recorded one that I could find was in 1924. BBC 5NG Notogram phone-in program is described in a 1925 Radio Times article. Listeners enjoy the novelty of hearing their own voices take part. Like this isn't a new fucking phenomenon. It just come out because of the internet. The phone-in programs have existed for a super long time, for over 100 years at this point. So,
almost every radio station has phone-in programs.
Yeah,
it's kind of what you're getting at is they're using social media as a scapegoat.
Yeah, they're trying to highlight problems that social media has, right? And they're here's the thing: social media can have they're not highlighting the actual issues behind this, like addiction, being a humongous bad thing with the use of social media, because you can get addicted to it. That's an actual thing that you could be highlighting and being this is the issue, right? People get addicted.
And I think a lot of the
things.
people either are or have been at some point. Like the people in these chats, in this call, many of us have been addicted at some point. Like me personally, recently have taken time away, and it changes everything. It's wow, I was literally on here 24/7 on some form of social media.
Yeah.
You have to unplug to even realize how addicted to it you are.
Yeah, I think a lot of people on here do get addicted to it, and I think the unplugging process is a lot easier for a lot of people versus a lot different people. It's just going to be the thing is you're using
it's harder for the mentally ill people to pull off.
Yeah, you're using, but those are going to be the extreme cases, right? That's what I'm just you're using the extreme cases to justify your vendetta against social media, which is dumb.
Correct.
But we can continue.
So I think a lot of, don't get me wrong, social media has its good and it has its bad, right? It's got its good because we can connect to members of the family that we may not be able to have connected to before, that live in different countries, right? But there's a lot of, what I think is happening is that a lot of people who are inadequate in life, right? Where, like I said, they may have a criminal background, so they're not able to work, or who have been ostracized from their families because they've got mental health problems. A lot of these people are able to behave in the manner that they do online because there's no consequences, right? There's no consequences. So
We can pause
It's definitely a case, or and with good people.
because I
You
hear.
got another minute.
Yeah.
Good.
But it's just okay. She starts to highlight like the good and the bad, right? Which is, I think, a positive thing to do. I just think that when you can't find the nuance between like benefits over cost, then you're basically just trying to make an argument for the negative, right? Um, she highlights that it's good to connect with family members, right? But that's like, okay, the obvious point. Let's look at the other points, right? That these are going to be really good for people that have like some level of social anxiety, is going to be fucking great for them, and it's going to be a stepping stone that they use, right? But it shouldn't be a crutch that you rely on, blah blah blah. These should be the talking points that she's using, but she can't seem to step out of that.
Mm-hmm.
And then also that she seems to acknowledge that it's mentally ill people that go on these sites, but she seems so fixated on this like particular bubble that she's been in, like the panelverse, whatever you want to call it, to look around at any other spaces before arriving at a conclusion that social media bad, right? Like, because if you look at like other channels, like let's say like those fucking Beta Squad, for example. I don't know if you guys knows what that is, but it's just like one of those like dumb shows where it's just like they do like Kai stuff, you know. Yeah, they just do like guess the X or some stuff like that. It's just like the internet is so vast that if you're looking at one little section as your rallying cry, then you've already arrived at a bad conclusion.
And there's so many other things that YouTube is extremely useful for. Like even simple things like people teaching you how to fix something.
Yep.
Every item that pretty much exists, there's a video on YouTube somewhere that somebody made, possibly somebody with a criminal history, that teaches you how to fix a problem with it. So you don't have to waste a bunch of money taking every item you have back to a professional when you have something run into a problem with it. Like little things like that. Like that's just a small example that are completely beneficial to society and don't hurt anyone.
Yep.
Like there's tons of that on YouTube.
It's just, again, she hasn't removed herself from the bubble, so she just won't ever actually arrive at a good conclusion. But we can continue with this thing because we are 18 minutes in, and we have dragged this out for an hour.
Yeah, true.
Unfortunately, good people get swept up with all the, I've met online people with bipolar schizophrenia who.
Have you? Or are you once again diagnosing people?
But yet are on social media acting like lunatics and nobody says anything. Nobody does anything.
People say shit all the time. They call you a schizo.
Yeah, I mean, it's like it is new territory. This thing has only been. I mean, I only had it since 2011. My YouTube account, right? Various YouTube.
Are you saying that's a self-report?
Facebook and all that. So people are. We don't even know what it's doing to us, because a lot of times we don't stop for a minute and take account of like where we're at. It's kind of
okay. Can we pause again? God damn it!
That's in the midst.
We don't know what it's doing to us. The common talking point that we hear throughout every little bit of like anything new that enters the social zeitgeist. We heard it when video games came out. We heard it when TV
I drink
came
water.
out.
I don't know what this is gonna do to me.
Yeah, we hear this with like TV, radio, D&D, anything that has ever entered the social zeitgeist has been criticized. We don't know what it's doing to us. Like
the satanic panic.
Frogs gay.
And here's the thing, I don't want to criticize that it's okay to be skeptical of like these interactions, right? Like how you're going to interact with these things. But it's important to remember that the responsibility of these tools falls to the user, not to anyone else. It falls to you. Ultimately, at the end of the day, that's who's fucking managing these things. You. Like, you can live your whole life without accessing social media once, and your life would be no different.
True. Like, my mom doesn't do social media at all. She lives her whole life that way.
Yeah.
I wonder if we can make the argument that social media actually gives an outlet for some people and actually reduces some level of harm. Kind of like
it does. Like in that study that I posted in the chat, like it shows the benefits over the negatives, and it's just like, okay, this is.
I wonder if there's a. Go ahead.
This is a good way to actually look at something, right? Instead of just being like negative.
Like I wonder if there's a correlation between porn and rape.
Probably not.
At least not a positive one, probably.
Yeah, probably not.
But like people with social anxiety, I feel like the social media is a good way to deal with that because they can engage as they will. They don't have to like stay engaged.
Yeah.
They can go on for 5 minutes and get out.
Yeah.
It can actually help people to get over social anxiety and things like that. Slowly working your way in.
Yeah, like people these mentally ill people who normally wouldn't have a community find one, and it could alleviate, give them some stuff they never had before.
Yeah,
like everybody who's in the sanctum.
Yeah,
yeah. Especially Christine. But moving on.
But clear plug, go join the Discord. Also, go sub up to the Powdered Dusty if you are not, because he provided us with this gracious content. Fantastic.
Yeah. Tonight's episode is not brought to you from us by the Powdered Dusty, but tangentially it had Powdered Dusty not made this possible, this stream would not be possible. So therefore, he is creating a slew of content for you.
Yep.
Who? No, I'm kidding.
But let's
Flow State, by the way, for anybody who doesn't know, because I know there's a few people in here that aren't online all the time. Flow State is also the Powdered Dusty.
Yeah, he is
the person who she's slandering this whole time and trying to take down.
Yeah, but let's go.
Absolutely sure of that, though.
Yeah,
I am absolutely sure. But let's continue.
Discover like a big drug addiction, for example. You don't know where you're at, literally, physically sometimes, but also mentally, until you stop and take a break, and then you're like, how did I get here? And it's like that with some of these relationships we have.
And people,
shows
well, some of the psychology behind it is quite extraordinary. I mean, some people sort of, social media rewards behaviors that in society would have consequences.
Pause.
So people idolize.
Pause. Fucking NPC managed to touch on it. He managed to touch the edge of it. That I correctly identified one of the actual problems, addiction traits, and she just goes to like bad behavior. That's where her brain is. Like, oh, it's so stupid. It's so retarded. Also, like, if you don't believe that addiction traits is the biggest like trait linked to like misuse in social media, then we'll provide you with another example of like more things you can read. There you go. Have fun. Dive into that because it shows that yes, addiction traits are the actual bad parts of social media. And if you can't correctly highlight that, if you can't sit there and fucking talk about this in more than just trying to shift over to talk about people's bad behavior or being fucking rewarded, it is fucking retarded. And I'll give her credence because I'll be like, yes, people's bad behavior gets rewarded on social media, right? But these are people that are conducting bad behaviors in real life and then get rewarded on like social media, like the Paul brothers, Jack Dorsey, Vitality, Fuzi being just examples of this. So it's just like, yeah, people do these things, but they do them in real life and then get rewarded on the internet. Cool. But I know.
But again, that goes along with the whole lolcow thing.
Yeah.
Where people see an action that they enjoy watching, so they reward it. And even though it's not a positive interaction, it's still something that the people are enjoying watching. So it's such a weird that's a whole different dynamic that I'm like hinting at, but we could talk about that another time.
Yeah,
That's probably gonna be another tangent, so I'm gonna stay away from it.
Yeah, I'm just saying that the more you listen to her, the more it just sounds like she has a problem with chatters, right? Like, it just the more she elaborates her ideas, it just seems like this is the issue she has. Chatters are the problem.
Do you think it's because she's like reading her chat and can't deal with the fact that she gets pushback sometimes?
It's because currently she's on NPCs, and I was watching it live at the time. No. People were saying crazy shit to her, and people were pushing back on like the topic as well. So I think she was just she was just like what she keeps saying later, where it's projecting her ideals onto these people.
Gotcha.
So, but the more you listen to her, the more it just sounds like she has a problem with chatters. We can continue. I just
there's an easy way to deal with that too.
People online
close the chat.
Society would condemn. So it's an interesting dynamic, right? You think, well, in real life, you wouldn't be allowed to do that. So why is that okay on a public forum?
Well, I guess it is the last bastion where you can do that. You used to be able to shit talk people on the phone.
We've highlighted how that's wrong.
Now you can do it online, you know.
And again, you can shit talk people in real life. It's not
like people wouldn't talk the way they did if it wasn't for that. I guess what some of it is because I can only speak for myself because dude, I think I'm the only one that's actually said this in the panelverse that I've known. I'm actually an addict, hopefully a recovering addict in the moment of all these panels because they're fun and they're a good way to escape the pressures of day-to-day.
It's another case of not touching grass.
But I have to say, man, it's like some people become another person when they're up there. And
it's ethical misconduct, isn't it? It's ethical misconduct that generally society shields us from, but yet online there's none of that protection because there's narcissism.
Pause because we're gonna touch the method. I want to touch both of those things, but I'm gonna let her talk about the other thing after that. It's ethical misconduct. I hate when people just use like what they think are smart sounding words to make a point because what is the misconduct? And these protections aren't online, right? Here's a super easy debunk. If you don't like someone online and don't like what they're saying, there's a button that you can click that blocks all their interactions that you'll ever have with them. There's your protection. Correct. And this isn't even taking into account like defamation laws, slander laws, and all these other things that are other layers of protection, right? But it's so dumb. It's so dumb.
I think part of it is not being able to deal with the fact that once you become a more public figure and put things out in the public, you open it up for criticism. So you no longer have as much ability to access the slander and those kind of laws because it can be a criticism of your actions and things that you said without being libelous or slanderous in any way.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are just like, you're slandering me because you're talking about what I said or whatever. And I feel like that's what she's looking at. And it drives me insane.
Yeah. It's just okay. We'll get to the social media breeds malignant narcissism thing right now. We'll let her give her point. And we'll break that down after. Vice, you can play. Be ready to pause.
I think social media breeds malignant narcissism, right?
Mm.
And so it does. And I think it's because people the ones that the biggest trolls, the ones that shout the most, the ones that do more damage, I just think they're very unhappy in their own lives. I think that they've been ostracized. So I can't even say the word, sorry.
Ostracized, yeah,
from their communities or their families. And and they're manifesting their internal hate for themselves online, aiming at others.
Okay, pause. We can pause now.
Yeah, we need
Much
to
easier.
Okay, so social media breeds malignant narcissism. As
The phrasing of that is terrible for one.
yeah,
Breeds, as in like
it causes it.
saying that it's the source of it,
Yep.
not that it.
What is the mechanism?
I can give you a little credence if you say that it draws people like that. It lends itself well to people who already have that.
Exactly.
But she's trying to say that it's creating it.
Exactly. She's saying that it breeds it, which, again, as we pointed out with the first study we linked, it's people with these social disorders are showing up on these sites. They're coming with the disorder. And to say that malignant narcissism is a learned trait, just out a learned trait that you can just like access social media and you become a malignant narcissist, right?
It's like saying that being on social media creates schizophrenia.
Yeah, like it's not understanding how like the DSM-5 is formed, right? Like she's a psych major. She should know what the DSM-5 is, right? Like this shouldn't be something that's difficult for her to look up and be like, oh, these aren't learned traits. These are like something that comes up obviously through some level of like fucking nurture and nature like aspects. It's just so dumb. And then they're manifesting their internal hate online. It's just like, again, not a learned trait. You're showing up with these traits already willing to go. It's dumb to even use malignant narcissism as an argument unless you're like an actual psychologist, firstly. Secondly, you shouldn't fucking use malignant narcissism if you're not going to do the base research of looking into like how this is diagnosed, how this is going to work, blah blah blah. This is so dumb.
Like, do you think the narcissists become narcissists through being like a celebrity, like a rock star, or were they narcissists before they became a rock star?
They'd be narcissists before they became a rock star. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of what helps to give you the courage to go on stage because you already believe that you're great.
Yep.
So it makes you more prone to take that step and be willing to go out. And whereas there's probably plenty of people who are shy, who are better than those people, but because they have that internal fear of not thinking they're great, they're not going to take that leap. So as far as in performance-based things, people who have a little bit of narcissism actually do have an advantage.
Yep.
Yeah. And it's kind of like go ahead.
It's just as simple as being like, this is not a complex ideal of how something interacts with something. It's just someone shows up at some place. It's as simple as that.
I don't know how to word this. It's like schools, right? And there's a higher level of like P words that end up in schools, right? It's not because the school creates the P words.
Yeah.
It's like it's a greater access to that supply.
Yeah.
Correct.
So it can be an attractor, definitely.
Yeah, it could be an attractor, and that's.
But it's not the cause.
If you want to highlight that, and like if you want to say like narcissistic traits instead of using malignant narcissism, that would probably be better phrasing for you because then you're not like actually running a diagnosis on people.
And again, I don't think she actually means malignant narcissism. I just think she heard that word and she wants to like. I could be wrong.
No, she's talking about it. She's talking about NPD, Dave. She's talking about NPD. Like that. She just doesn't. She's just so retarded that she can't fucking figure out like that's not a good fucking way to conduct yourself if you're trying to fucking actually propose any legislation. This is actual retard brain shit.
And if you're trying to portray yourself as somebody with a psychology background,
listen. I could
probably understand the terms you're using.
Yeah, I could smash my head against a wall 30 times, and I would still be smarter than this. Like,
I blame Destiny for this. I do. I blame Destiny.
Do you think she's watching Destiny? Do you think she's watching Destiny, bro?
No, but he uses so many psych terms incorrectly and brings like gaslight into the the stream debate space. I don't know. It's not really him. It's just he was one of the first people that I noticed do it a lot. And he even got mad at himself for doing it at one point, I remember. I don't remember what the term was that he was referring to, that he was like, I should have never used this term.
Yeah. I just gaslight. It was gaslight. I remember.
I think it was gaslight.
It was during the lab conversations. Yeah, you're right. But yeah. Let's just keep going because this is so.
Yeah, sorry, tangent.
It's easier to point the finger and
Yeah, because
look internal.
If you shout, look over there, and but this, that, and the other, you're taking the attention away from yourself.
Right. Absolutely. That's why I think a lot of times I've gotten so angry and annoyed with people in the all of the above sector, as I call it here, because like that little bit inside me that I'm chastising them about. Like I have that still inside me, but because a lot of these arguments I've had and stuff, I've never really have them in the squished reality, I call it, offline, because I'm pretty chill and whatnot, and nobody really tests me because one, they'll probably be afraid of me. If they did, they wouldn't do that,
Fuck. Okay.
And two,
pause.
It's not worth it. It's not worth it.
Pause. I hear this.
Everybody's a tough guy online.
Everyone says this shit. I hear this talking point so fucking much. Everyone says they would probably be afraid of me online. This just shows how sheltered people are. You need to go outside and actually get your ass kicked. I actually think that's my recommendation. That's my recommendation to these people. Go outside and get punched in the face. Like, I need you to do that right now. Do it. Because
you need to have a fear of danger and death in your life.
You need someone to actually punch you back into reality, because this is so dumb. I don't know.
This is a little bit of that trait narcissism coming through. Sorry. It's I don't know. It really is. Everybody says something like this. Like, you wouldn't say that to my face if you were here. Like, probably I would. Like, zero fear, my guy.
Yeah. It's just like, these people have not interacted with these people.
For my last job, I literally confront people who are doing bad things.
Yeah.
Like, bigger than you, I'm sure. It's just insane to think that people won't confront you. I've seen people confront people way bigger than them and scarier.
Yep.
Because they say something stupid.
Yep. It's always such a talk. It's just a talking point on the internet. Everyone fucking feels like a tough guy on here, and I'm just like, shut the fuck up. Like, go
because
outside.
Nobody can ever press them. Nobody's actually going to walk up to them and press them from the online space.
No, it's the same.
I'm not going to be walking down the street and see NPC and go up and...
It's not even that, because people do this shit in real life too. It's just like, you're not gonna swing on me, and like, you fucking swing on them, and they're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, but that's
like,
the difference.
That's like, it's just these people online. That's what I'm saying. It's
in
just,
real life, you're catching the hit though.
Yeah.
Online, you don't get to catch that hit that teaches you to shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
you can if it's a DDoS kid and he's keeping you from making money.
That is true. There are ways for you to actually catch a clapback on the internet, so it's not impossible. But there are, like, again, we've been pointing out there are consequences to the internet. Like, as she wants to point out that there aren't, I'm just like, there are. That it's just everyone thinks they're the toughest motherfucker on the internet. I don't understand it. Never will.
It is insane. It drives me nuts.
Like, I'll fight a motherfucker, but I'm not gonna sit here and be like, I'm the toughest motherfucker in the universe. Like, it's so dumb. It's so dumb. Let's continue. I just need to fucking always call that shit out.
A lot of things to deal with, but here there's no consequences and whatnot. But
no, one of my biggest brain scratches, because it's very easy to talk about the narcissists and the people with severe mental health issues that really do need to be, some of them need to be institutionalized, right? But it's the enablers that I really had to kind of think hard about, the enablers, the people that enable that kind of behavior, the people that encourage that kind of behavior and their motivations behind that.
Yeah. What is their motivations behind that, you think, in general?
I'm still not 100% sure, to be fair. The enablers, why do they do what they do? I'm not sure.
Okay,
I'm
pause.
still something I'm looking at and trying to figure out.
I'll give credit. I'll give her credit where credit is due. She says she's not sure, right? But if you're highlighting something as the most important part of why you're going to legislation, I would expect you to know something, right? Like, at least give me an example. Because here's the thing, I can give you an example just off the rip. Like, human behavior dictates that if you make someone feel comfortable or have a sense of belonging, they're gonna obfuscate like bad behavior later down the line, right? If I make people in this in my stream feel comfortable, then they're gonna let me do crazier shit later down the line. A good example of this would be Mel's show, right? Because a lot of people are defending her and her shitty behavior. So, like, a good example being that. So, like, it's something that should be basic for her to understand. That's just intuitive knowledge. She should be at that intuitive knowledge, but she can't even refer to that. That's why I'm just like, I don't even know if she has the level of common sense that is necessary to actually dive into a subject like this.
Like, it's super easy. It's the same fact that, like, a mother will never believe that their kid did the bad thing. It's like, oh no, he would never do that.
Yep.
But he did.
But I can understand why a lot of people would have her take, though. Right? And not because they've, like, analyzed it, but it looks like it's like a knee-jerk reaction to stuff you see.
Yeah, but you're not wrong.
Yeah.
That is your first instinct.
I do think she is an expert, though, of pulling shit out of her ass, but...
and to be fair, she could also be referring to people who let mentally ill people onto, like, shows and panels to put them on display and be laughed at. But again, that achieves the goal that she wants, where it's just like they're already being ridiculed, right? Like, these people are being laughed at. It's not like they're being positively reinforced, like they're being negatively reinforced into these things. So I don't know what she's looking for here. But because she could be referring to the enablers as the chatters or enablers as the content creators, so it's just like I have to look at it both ways, and it both doesn't add up. And it's so weird because I'm using her narrow scope of, like, the internet instead of, like, looking at all of, like, social media, which is fucking retarded. Let's continue, Vice. I know.
Very important. Whenever you're making something, step back and look at it broader.
About too, like how a lot of times folks with narcissistic tendencies, I'm not gonna say narcissism because I'm not a trained psychologist or psychiatrist, but with tendencies that we've all witnessed, you know, it's easier. They're not very discriminative of who they hang out with, right? Because the top priority is not quality of the person and character of the person, more so, are they gonna let me get my shit off, you know? And so if you get a lot of that going on where you don't really care the quality of person you're hanging out with, you're gonna just act the fool a lot of times because no one's gonna hold you accountable, because the only rule in that type of fight club is just don't hold me accountable and I won't hold you accountable.
Okay, we're gonna define something again.
A shitstorm a lot of times.
They refuse to use definitions as anything, so we're going to define narcissistic traits. Let's look it up. Narcissistic traits: a range of behaviors and beliefs, including a grandiose self of importance, an excessive need for admiration, a lack of empathy, and a sense of entitlement. What he just described would be an exchange of that between two people, which is already not narcissistic on its face. Because if you're already taking someone else's considerations into value, so you're already not putting yourself first, which wouldn't be narcissistic. It's super easy to figure out why that wouldn't be the thing, but I guess that he used that example just off the cuff, so maybe I don't know. I feel like
I don't want to muddy the waters.
His understand. Sorry.
I just didn't want to muddy the waters too much, but aren't there different forms of NPD?
MPD, yes, but this is like narcissistic traits, particularly.
Yeah.
MPD is an actual diagnosis. Like
he's referring to it more in like the dark triad trait
Yeah.
way, like not the whole narcissistic personality disorder, but just narcissistic tendencies.
which is a better way of actually using it than just actually saying malignant narcissism, because that's
it's basically selfishness for the most part. Is an easy way to judge if somebody is showing these. They're going to be very selfish and self-aggrandizing. There are the two biggest things. Like saying that they're like, I'm not saying I'm the greatest, but they're all saying. Sorry. That would be trait narcissism.
Yep. Let's let it keep going. Because Sorry is right. We are
Unless there's a
24
good
minutes
mediator
in.
there that can reel him back in sometimes.
But yeah, I feel like he's as good with narcissism as he is with
sorry, I'm just reading some of the
parasociality.
Laugh. Because if you think I'm going to get upset by bullshit, I don't. Because I've learned, one of the big questions I used to have when I was doing, my channel, was how come the huge creators didn't interact with their crowd? Or they used to just read the super chats and that's it. I'm starting to understand. There's a lot of unhappy people on
it's numbers. It's just numbers. We don't even have to pause. It's numbers.
No,
we don't have to pause, Spice. We don't have to pause.
No, you can keep going.
It's numbers. That's the reason. You fucking loser. It's because
there's too many to keep track of everyone.
You're a loser and had 50 people in chat.
That's it. With their relationships with others, a lot of the time when you see people,
when you got 10 to 50,
men or women,
you can respond to everybody.
Yeah.
When you have 3,000,
because they are
not so much.
Unable to communicate, unable to establish relationships with people of the opposite sex, and then they project it onto and that's when you get communities. I've forgotten what community is called, where they're all about the men are like, we don't need women in our lives. You mean
like MGTOW, men going their own ways?
Yeah.
Okay. We have to define something again.
So
we're gonna define MGTOW now.
Not MGTOW, projection, because again, she just keeps using projection. She just keeps using projection as a catch-all.
Yeah, it's like the two words like uneducated people use online when just like trying to projection and narcissism. Yeah. Everything's projection and narcissism.
Projection in psychology is a defense mechanism where an individual unconsciously attributes their own unacceptable thoughts, feelings, or impulses to another person. She's correct about the MGTOW thing, about they look for someone to blame. Yeah, people do that on the internet. She's also doing it, like she's blaming the chatters that are being taken out at the moment from her chat.
So would you say she's projecting her own?
Yeah, I would probably say she's projecting her shit, but whatever.
I'd like to say none of us are psychologists as a
No, I'm not diagnosing shit, but none of us are trying to.
I haven't diagnosed her for shit. I haven't said she's anything. I'm just saying, like, I'm just talking about the actual thing she's talking about and breaking it down.
It's being a dumb bitch, a diagnosed dumb kill. We can go.
Yeah.
That would be a diagnosis.
A lot of that goes on, and that's where the toxic femininity comes in, where they hate men. It's vice versa, and well, it's a sad state of affairs. It's interesting because I think, where's it going to lead to? Where's all this going to lead to? Right. There's no boundaries on social media. There's no accountability on social media. Where's it all? And these are the adults. So what chance have the kids got?
We'll pause. Because where is this gonna fucking lead to? I want to take these people back in a time machine and put them on an Xbox Live chat in the early 2000s. I just want them to sit there and listen to the things we used to say to each other and say, "Oh my god!" The way that social media has conducted itself and media in general has softened to a large part. Because if I jump onto Xbox right now, I know I'm not going to get the same level of fucking craziness that I did back in the day.
You know what? It wasn't laws. It was a self-regulation.
Yeah. It didn't need that shit. And then here's the thing that's also super annoying, because she'll complain about censorship and then want more censorship on these to be put out by these private companies. It's just like, it's so dumb. It is.
To be honest, it's like almost anybody who speaks about censorship. Yes, I want people censored when they disagree with me, but I don't want to be censored when I'm disagreeing with you.
Yeah, it's
Majority of my censorship.
Listen, chat, if you're ever gonna go on a panel and say that you know something, please give it more thought than this fucking crazy lady has. Okay, just please. That's all I ask.
At least like a Wikipedia search.
Yeah, something, anything, really.
Something.
But
2 minutes. Wikipedia something.
I really want to put these people. I wish I would have recorded my fucking shit back in the day, so I can hear the difference between me and then and now.
What, you were a raging racist back then?
Probably, dude. Probably. I said some wild shit.
I was a shit talker for sure.
Never.
Not racist, but I was absolutely a shit talker.
I would say things that were beyond the scope of any fucking human should say to another human, but that's because it was Xbox. What the fuck? I didn't take it seriously. People didn't take it seriously, and it was
yeah, exactly. It wasn't like that. Like, nobody took the shit talk seriously. It was all jokes. It was the vibe.
Unless it was that one lady in that video where they did the Duke Nukem, blow it out your ass.
It's not the vibe anymore. Like, the vibe has changed online in gaming. It's a little more accepting, but you'll still get that from time to time in certain games.
Yeah.
Like, Call of Duty is still a breeding ground for that. They've kept that toxic attitude.
They haven't, dude. I've been on those.
I know it's not as bad, but there's still a lot of it in there.
It's not even close to what it used to be, dude. Like, it has regulated itself so well, and I think it's because people started reporting people. That's all that happened.
Yeah.
Novel things, you gotta learn. You gotta learn things along the way, and it did.
Yep. These things are learned over time.
Because League of Legends used to be a cesspool.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
that was terrible.
Everything starts off super bad and then gets better over time. The live streaming isn't a brand new thing. I don't know why people are acting like it's a brand new thing. This is the tame end of live streaming, and it's still getting tamer.
Sure.
Like, BreadTube gets laughed at for a particular reason, like, because it's so fucking tame now.
Go back on Twitch in the early days when you couldn't even ban people from your chat.
Yeah, exactly.
Imagine that. Imagine not being able to ban somebody from your chat.
What's that newer platform, streaming platform, the green one?
Kick.
I mean, it's going to go through its growing pains. Like, I don't know how it's changed.
Yeah. I mean,
it already has. It already has. Like,
don't get me wrong; it's still kind of in its infancy, but it has grown a ton.
The beginning, it was like the Wild West. You did whatever the fuck you wanted on Kick, and no one would say shit to you. Now you can't do a shit ton of shit, because it's just like, okay, well, we can
like the pirated streams get taken down eventually. Now, like. And you used to be able to watch like full Disney movies on there.
I'd like to say to all you commie bastards out there, this is the beauty of capitalism. It's kind of like a little self-regulation here,
Yep. Everything self-regulates, and to fucking pretend like you should have the government involved in this self-regulation is so stupid. But let's continue.
Speaking of that, how about schools? No, just kidding.
Nope. Let's continue.
They don't. If that's the adults doing it, man, they learn from that. They're just gonna repeat the cycle probably. Yeah. That's why I wonder too. Is like where, like I know where my son is right now. Literally, he's downstairs. Shout out to Ben. He's playing Mario Party with mom right now. He just got that Switch, so he's playing that. So I know what he's doing, and a lot of times I feel a little guilty about like doing these streams so long even if it is 2 hours or 2 hours or whatever, because it's like time is precious. One, we work hard, yet we like our hobbies like streaming or whatnot, but our children are precious. You got to monitor them.
Virtue signal.
Because there's a lot of people that if you don't monitor them, they're gonna someone else is gonna monitor them for you, and you don't want that, you know.
No, and look at look at the places that bad, the people where they hang around. They hang around on social media, right?
Mhm.
Because it's so easy to access children on social media. It's so easy to pretend to be someone else because you're just a thumbnail.
Okay, pause.
Yeah, it's definitely.
I am more than a thumbnail.
Whoa.
It's so dumb. It's so dumb.
That's a bad time to say that.
It is so dumb. But it's just like, fuck. If you're not teaching your kids stranger danger, I don't know what you're doing.
Do you really think there are more people on social media than in real life?
No, they're at church.
And the thing is, the danger of them is much greater in real life than on the internet.
Yeah, yep.
Like,
I don't know. I mean, you can make an argument either way, but
and it's not like. Well, here's the thing.
well, I'm using
if the same amount will exist online or and offline, I would prefer them to exist online instead of offline.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Yeah, just because there's the risk of danger is so much lower.
There's a level of anonymity online that I think it's easier to seduce online than like in.
Yeah, but
I don't know.
This is about teaching your. Ultimately, fuck. This comes back to the self-responsibility thing. If you're not teaching your fucking kids, don't fucking send fucking pictures to a fucking pedophile. Then I don't know what the fuck you're doing. I honestly, that's on you. That's not everyone else's issue. That's a you issue.
Well, look, all those studies say, or like if you look at the Harvard things or whatever, it's they push for like you need to self-regulate.
Yeah,
and
you need to monitor your children,
lock your shit down, and all that stuff like that. It's like you wouldn't send your kid out into a friggin' dark alley and whatever, without
Yeah,
and it's just also just the ultimate fear monger that people use. It's just the people.
Yeah,
we all know what she means. I hope. Yeah. But
anytime
you want to drum up some kind of
it's a pedo
outrage,
I'm not scared of these fucking words either. I am so tired of it.
I don't know. I don't know what the rules are. I don't want to be the one to break them if they do exist. So now that you've said pedo, I can say,
it's
pedo is just the easy way to drum up some kind of emotion because nobody likes pedos.
No,
I don't know a single person who's like, oh, it's okay if you're a pedo.
What up, Pluzzy?
No,
a girl on food shops.
So like, yeah, but that's joking and character shit. I'm sure.
Also,
I don't believe it.
Also, just fair warning to anyone who's coming in right now. The stream has been choppy all night. There's nothing I can do about it. I'm so sorry. We're just gonna roll with it as we go along.
Hopefully, the replay will be
the replay is gonna be fine because everything seems to be playing through. It's redirecting people to other videos for some reason.
Yeah.
So we should.
I don't know. My phone didn't crash at all.
Yeah. But we should be good.
It always bothers me that just people go to that every single topic.
Yeah, it's just you know why it's the only way to get.
I know
it's the intuition pump. That's it. That's all it is.
Yep.
But let's continue, Vice, because we are needing to get through this motherfucker. Because I don't want to sit here all night.
To help us regulate, not just to protect our children, but to protect.
You might have to do a part 2.
Vulnerable people,
probably, because I'm gonna need to go here
too. In these kind of settings,
Yeah, you might have to do this solo.
If the social media companies aren't prepared to kind of look at how toxic social media is and the parasocial relationships that happen on social media, they're not, we're just ignoring it. Then someone else has to step up, right?
Okay.
And say no.
Yeah. Can we pause
for what's happening on your platform?
Yeah.
Because here's the thing, government intervention on these private companies is dumb because, like, okay, I understand that she's trying to achieve some good, right? But let's ask yourself this question. if the government forced all children to be straight A students, otherwise they'll be taken away by the state. Would you be okay with that?
No.
I think
most we need C and D students too.
I think most people would say no to this answer. And that should show you that just because some good is being achieved doesn't mean that we should offset responsibility from the parents or should achieve the highest expectations behind something.
Yeah.
It's just
I agree.
It's just typical overreach talk from people that don't give the subject much thought. Like, that's
I'm curious, Hornet. Do you know anything about like China and how they influence education and stuff like that? Or is there like an example, like extreme example of?
It's basically more formatted towards a way that they can excel, but it's not like you get taken away.
Okay, so there's no real example of government mandated.
Okay. Well, all education is technically government mandated, right? It's just
not like, government. I mean like if kids get taken away if they get like a bad grade.
Yeah. That's like,
the other big problem is when you bring in government regulation. This is not a national company. This is an international company. It deals in so many different countries that every government would have a say at that point, and it would be pointless because everything would be disallowed, and you'd wind up just educational content like PBS style.
So the way y'all are all talking, y'all sound like Trump voters right now. Well, technically,
so what do you mean?
I'm just kidding.
Anyway, I gotta go. I'll take this as my exit. Have a good night. Thank you for having me up.
No problem.
Bye, everybody.
Dave.
Later.
Okay, we can continue.
Next week.
We can continue.
I got Dave to leave. Anyways.
And this is all social media platforms. This is not just one. I mean, obviously, I'm talking about YouTube because that's where I've had the most experience. Hey, Chicky Chops, darling. I'm not ignoring chat. I just can't comment right now. So
looks like Lindsay has a comment. She said, ABC the game, will there be an open panel or time for the community to ask questions? Probably later. Like, I mean, I know Mel has to leave because it's Easter. Happy Easter.
Yes.
Maybe later, depending on how things are going. Like, we'll see. Yeah. But happy Easter, happy 420. Right. You know, today is also the Austrian painter's birthday as well.
Oh, there you go. You learn new things every day.
Yeah. So let's go.
Let's talk about, the types of people that engage in parasocial relationships, right? So do you think that people
Let's see what you asked for this.
For just to be heard, to be seen, to be loved. Do you think that happens?
Right. Absolutely. Because one, how are you gonna find love and know what it is if no one really loved you? No, you don't know how to love yourself, which means like you don't know how to honor yourself and like respect yourself, take care of yourself, health wise and physically, mentally. But yeah, I think most people they want to be noticed, and that form of that form comes in the form of wanting to be noticed, and this is what it is. Just like, people in the chat, they want, like, literally Clue just said, shout out to Clue Studios. He's like, Bill, you're not acknowledging me. He's being funny, but
no, Clue, I can't comment. I told everybody I've privatized my channel, which means I can't comment on YouTube unless I'm privatized.
Crazy.
I can't even comment on StreamYard.
This is actually crazy, people.
But I think he's being funny too, though, because he knows you have love
pause
for sure.
Pause.
He's a good dude. But yeah, that's
pause. Like, we see an example of parasocial like relationships right there.
Mm-hmm.
She feeds into it. NPC tries to play it off as a joke, and she feeds into it, and then NPC makes an excuse for it afterwards as well. It's just like, Jesus fucking Christ, are you not listening to yourselves right now? And what up, Growling? It's just so dumb. It's actually so dumb. You can keep playing. I think at this point I just want to keep going and let my brain die.
That's kind of an example in the sense people just want to be acknowledged, man.
Well, hit me up on Discord because he says I have an idea on how to lobby for change in laws and legislation.
Okay.
So, yes, so absolutely hit me out because, like I said, my experience on YouTube has just inspired me just to do so much more. So much more, which is to do with YouTube, but just not in it.
Yeah, I think that you can do it. I mean, already done. Like, I mean, that what you told the narrative about you against the church and helping out your son and other people in similar situations. That's
Right.
pretty epic. That's nothing to be to snooze over, you know.
Right, and it's inspired me to do my research.
It inspired me to do my research. Sure.
A speaker that I really admire.
Yet she fails to highlight any important components and any of the treatments that most people go through. But
something, it's inspired me to go back and do a master's.
Inspired
in social, in social dynamics.
Yeah. Really, that situation you've been in the last year.
Yeah, it's inspired me to do so much more, and I thank everybody that's given me that inspiration, good or bad.
Yeah.
If you're inspired, actually do some research, please. Thank you.
You're not online or listening as a consumer or producing like a live streamer, but when you stop, how's that been for you as you've been taking this break? I assume it's a break. Yeah.
And do you know what? I've learned there's been so much personal growth. It really has, because one of the things that I realized that I was doing was that I realized that I was kind of hiding from real life, and I was kind of, brushing things under the carpet that needed addressing. And I'm back in the workforce full time now, and I'm addressing some of those things that I was brushing under the carpet. And I think a lot of people do tend to do that. They want to hide in social media to avoid facing real life.
This is just describing a coping mechanism for external pressures.
And I've learned that the real life.
And she's highlighting the misuse of the tool as the example, which is dumb.
10 years on YouTube talking about the same shit over and over again. Absolutely not. Because that's 10 years of my life that I could be doing something in real life.
Right. And it is a great escape. Lindsay Smith says
I learned the real life is outside. It's a wild statement.
Yeah.
But when does it doesn't become an escape when some of us are at the escape hideout spot more than there are at their actually home,
Right. Yeah. And we all know, we've discussed it many a times, haven't we, MPC, that people are choosing to socialize less in real life. They're at home, they're on their computers, they're on their phones. And
socialization can happen on the internet.
Society, we're
No.
And don't get me wrong, some people have social.
She said in real life, though.
Right?
Yeah.
Right.
I understand,
but we're socializing way less more, is what she's saying.
Through a screen, and that's cool. I get that, but like I said, at the end of the day, you're not facing real life. You're not
if you're going to address this point, please provide a step-by-step process on how these people can actually fucking use their social anxiety as the conveying point.
Social media, like yourself, NPC. You've got to you do a great job. You inspire.
This is so dumb.
Young children, you mold them into.
Be like, use it for this step. Use it for this step.
There's a lot of people that are like, they eat shit, sleep, YouTube, or whatever platform you're on. Eat shit, YouTube, eat shit, and that's all they do. And that's a real sad state of affairs.
Most people have jobs.
It's like, just because
most people have jobs.
I mean, it feels good doesn't mean you should do it.
Even content creators have jobs. I have a job. Most people that use social media have a job
too. So
they're interacting with humans at some point.
Oh, it's very easy to fall into that, isn't it? It's very easy.
Yeah,
someone who hasn't had a job would be coming to these conclusions.
Eat shit, sleep, social media.
Mm-hmm.
It's very easy to fall into that pattern. So for me,
are there any studies on the difference between different kinds of social interaction?
I've grown
there
over the last year.
There are plenty. It's just I don't have any of those on hand because it's like that's an unnecessary point.
If you're not in it to do self growth, then why are you in it? Why are you It's about self growth, right?
If you're not on social media for self growth, why are you in it? We can pause it now.
You made mistakes and whatnot, right?
Of course, I've made mistakes.
We can pause it. okay, not everything you do in life has to be about self-growth, people. Sometimes you can just do something because you want to laugh at something. Like if you're watching this right now, if you just want to laugh at the things I'm saying about this dumb bitch being dumb as fuck, then perfect. That's the end goal, right? People just like relaxing again. It's not about fucking growing and being better person every fucking day when you're watching YouTube. Sometimes you just want to do a hobby or watch something or listen to a radio station, put on a song without having to deal with anything else.
Remember when TV's bad for you, movies are bad for you, this is bad for you. And now these things have become normal parts of society, and most people really can't, I say live without them, but like it's not given a second thought. Like the boob tube,
Yeah, and when we
brush
look,
your brain.
and here's the thing: like when we look at most of these studies, it's gonna be conducted in a way where the extremes are the like talking points. So that's kind of like an issue that you run into when you're looking into this as well.
But you can also understand the fear people have, especially these novel platforms and whatnot.
Yeah,
and why they would make these intuitive, retarded statements.
yeah. But it's just like again, not very thought out. It's just
Well, the biggest problem here is the claiming to be an expert.
yeah. Again, coming on here saying you're going to do legislation seems to be...
And then actually trying to affect things in real life by, like, going to Parliament or whatever she's trying to do.
Yeah. So it's just... I don't know how someone could actually have this level of, like, ineptitude and still think they're qualified to do something that big. So that's pretty much the only place where I'm landing here, because it's just like they talk about things that like they touch the iceberg, right? They touch it right at the tip, and then they pull back to some stupid shit that doesn't make any sense. It's just like, why not just focus on the addiction traits, right? If you actually had an issue with social media, you look at the addiction traits. Your argumentation should always follow that, because that is your strongest point. Or if you want to go through mentally ill people, you go that mentally ill people are accessing it, not that this is breeding it. It's super easy to follow these like line of thoughts. It's not hard to make these arguments. It's just when you have no level of give a fuck, then how the fuck are you ever going to get to a level understanding where you're going to be able to actually produce something that's intelligent or coherent or should be put into any fucking level of legislation? There's no way. There's just no way. But we can continue.
Like I'm a human being. I think sometimes people look at creators like they're not human beings. But we're human beings. We make mistakes, we do good things, we accidentally do bad things. It's life, it's part of life. But
yeah, it is.
If you don't grow from your mistakes,
also people look at creators like they're not human beings is inherently asking people to be parasocial and to take you into consideration.
It's interesting. I think that with the parasocial relationships, that people look at things on.
You're asking people to be parasocial.
They're lacking. So it might be a partner, it might be a family member, it might be a friend, and they search it online. But unfortunately, there's people who are genuine, who are kind online, but equally there's people who are the exact opposite.
Yes, it's almost like humans are diverse and complex.
But I have to say, Crazy Mama,
and anything we use will basically translate that over. Oh my god!
And because I had said,
did you say that the negative effect of this line of thinking,
everyone could express themselves and whatnot, but
it creates
there's only one
like an us versus them.
We're talking about.
Yeah, it does.
And I don't want to hear negativity and toxicity, and that does sound like kind of like a authoritarian, dictatorship. It's going to be a dictatorship tonight, for real. And you couldn't even respect that. And I said, if you're a mod, you can't respect that, you'll take the night off, right? Oh, you're not a mod. Fuck. I don't think you are a mod. Never mind. With that said, it's kind of interesting how you want to be here so bad that you had to do an alt account or whatever. So, hey man, hopefully you can get something positive out of it.
Okay,
Hopefully.
I'm gonna comment on this. Pause it,
You
Vice.
were timeouted, right? So
Because fuck, this is so dumb. Like, here's the thing: if you're gonna have a subject like this come up as you're like talking, and you're gonna talk to an expert about it, one thing you shouldn't do. Like, he gave a warning at the beginning that you should engage with the topic, based, right? Like, I think that's okay. Engage with the topic, and then you're good. But to engage with the topic and only engage with it positively, like in a positive way, it is already, you've lost the plot. Like you're never gonna draw a good idea from this. You're just creating a hug box. I said shit in chat and I didn't get removed, but I don't know if that's because they thought I was agreeing with them or they actually understood what I was saying. But and also to have her fans or her mods modding that chat is super counterproductive to what you're trying to achieve here. You're trying to have this idea be flushed out and all this other shit, and it's just like, yeah, I don't know. Like, what the fuck are you even trying to do? You're just like talking for the sake of talking? Because if that's what it is, then say that's what it is. I just want to talk for the sake of talking and not like, and don't fucking go under the guise of I'm trying to teach people something or I'm trying to be this expert on this thing. Like, just say I'm just talking, like I'm doing right now. I'm just fucking talking. Crazy Mama, I know I was in the chat at the time. I know that there was people calling her all sorts of shit, and I was just like, that there was some shit that was beyond the pale that I was just like, okay, yeah, remove that shit. But when you're on topic, it's hard to fucking be like, what the fuck? Why are you being timed out for that shit? But we can continue. That just again, it just breeds bad fucking ideas. Jamie.
He's still asleep.
damn.
But Uncle Fatty, hello, darling. Hello, sweetie. But yeah, no, like I said, it's about self-growth, and I feel that I've grown over the last year with my confidence.
Yeah. Where do you go from now?
Well, when I get some time, because I'm still settling in, obviously, when I get some time, I'm going to be looking in how to start lobbying. I'm going to look into how much it costs to do a master's. And I really do want to write some sort of dissertation or theses on my experience.
Again, has reached a conclusion without any level of research.
Yeah, it's just an idea in her head.
Look, you know what it is, Princess Angela? I think people who try and damage other people's reputations online is generally because they have a poor status in real life, right?
Yeah.
So you draw attention.
Yep, poor status in real life.
So you don't draw attention to your incompetence in real life. You have to
listen. Pause this for a second.
Okay.
We're gonna be honest for a second. We're gonna be an honest chat. We're gonna be honest. If you behave like this, like this lady on the internet in real life, it would be unacceptable. People would call you crazy. People would be like, you're thin skin. Grow thicker skin to interact with people, you fucking retard. It's not hard. If you can't handle it, leave. Don't engage with it. Simple. Nothing forces you to engage with it. It's retarded to sit here and try to put yourself as an expert in something that you cannot handle it. It's so simple. It's such a simple fact. And it's just like, what the fuck is wrong with you? How dumb do you have to be to go through these lines of logic? I mean, I don't even know if there is any lines of logic at this point because it doesn't seem like she's done any level of research.
Yeah, I can just use anecdotal experiences, like when you first come into the online spaces and whatnot. What is that first few things you hear? Grow thicker skin. There's a lot of trolls out here. Because if you don't know learn to deal with that, you just. I mean, what happens when people? Yeah.
If like people were this whiny on fucking in real life, let's say if I'm like having lunch with my friends and they're whining about some fucking shit about like happened like at work, and just that's all they fixated on, I would actually tell them to go fuck themselves. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? I don't need to hear about this at every fucking second, right? Like, this is so dumb. This would be unacceptable in real life, and everyone would tell you that. I don't understand why people don't fixate on this more, but this is unacceptable. This is unacceptable behavior in real life. This is the thing she's talking about. And again, I'm calling you out on it. There are consequences to it because I'm calling you out on it. People think that you're retarded and they alienate you. That's what happens on the internet. Same thing that happens in real life. This is not acceptable behavior. Do not act like this. Otherwise, you will be ostracized from every fucking community or anyone that you try to interact with because you sound stupid.
Tell me how you really feel.
But yeah, sorry. I needed a rant there because she gets on my nerves.
Harassment.
We can go, Vice.
You know, slandering, lying, all that kind of stuff about other people. But yeah, it is what it is, you know. And sometimes I feel that the worst of the worst comes out in humans on social media.
Yeah,
I thought that was a war
thing, man. Like, I don't know. It's weird. This is a pretty good little practice in the sense of like self-control, because most of these people I don't really see them in your broadcast or my broadcast, yet they come here and I just had one request, man, and they couldn't do it, and they said,
well,
freedom
two
of
requests
speech
to be
here.
fair.
No, there isn't. There's freedom of speech if you're gonna be positive or whatnot. We get it. You don't like
lies. It doesn't come freedom of slander, does it?
Exactly. We get it. We don't. If you don't like one of us or whatever, what we're saying, that's your right. However,
also pause
here. I never thought it.
Because this is a good way to show how creators responsible for their chat, right? Everyone was being timed out that you disagree with. Fantastic. There you go. You regulated. Now the people that you don't want to interact with don't interact with you. Oh, you achieved the thing you wanted to do without actually going to legislation. Fucking fantastic. Oh, dude, it is actually laughable that they're doing the thing. They're doing the thing that they're talking about, and they can't even acknowledge that that's what just happened. Like, if she wants protections, quote unquote, then it already happened because she was protected the whole fucking time. People were being timed out like crazy. So it just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make any sense.
There's a lack of self-awareness.
Yeah, it's just not actually reading into the fucking situations. It's fucking dumb. But let's keep going. I just need to comment on that because it's so blind how they are.
I never thought there was, man. Like, but if you're like someone who wants to express themselves and
Paul said it
civilized way, go ahead.
No, I was just reading Paul's comment. He says a master's is about £8,000 a year. So I'm going to have to be doing some saving before I have that option. But it has inspired me to study more. And
still missing the basics
and
stuff.
Be productive in life, you know. I'm not going to respond to haters because it's them problem, not me problem.
Yeah. It's only a problem if you let it be.
What kind of parasocial relationships have you encountered being a streamer, a content creator?
I mean, what comes to mind first is there's been some people over the years that have definitely, I'm talking about like this is like a positive thing in a sense, but it became too much. They definitely wanted some guidance or first attention for sure, but then some guidance and whatnot. and which is great because I like to help people, right? So sometimes I need help when I reach out for people. I'm happy when they give it to me, but it became a parasocial relationship where a particular viewer or type of viewer would ask for, to speak offline and stuff, and we'd speak offline or whatever, and you give them advice because you've been there, done that. Yet they don't really want to really engage with it. They just want to
Okay, can we pause?
think about it in
Can we
theory, but
pause?
not in practice.
We're going on another rant, people. It's not going to be a long one, but the level of self-importance here is like through the fucking roof. Listen, I'm going to say it one more time, nice and clear, so that everyone gets this through their fucking brains. Unless you have a play button, you're a fucking loser on here. You are a nobody, okay? I am a nobody, and I accept that. Okay? Simple. You're a fucking loser. Okay? Not hard to comprehend. Not hard to comprehend. And if we're talking about other sites, unless you have multi-million followers, then it's even worse on the other sites. You should, if you think you are important on here, actually kill yourself. Simple. Actually.
Jeez.
Like, it is fucking insane that people think that they're important on here. That I don't get it. I just don't get it. I don't actually get it. This is so stupid. Oh my god. Losers should be fucking losers, okay? Accept it, move on. Fuck. Sorry, I needed to fucking get that out, because,
I can think of an example. I don't know how this maps on. Remember Sargon of Akkad? And he used to make those anti-feminist videos. Then he thought his shit didn't stink. Then he tried to run for fucking office.
Yep.
And he was fucking terrible. He actually single-handedly ruined an entire political party.
Exactly. That's what I'm just like. Just understand where you're at, please, for the love of God. Like, is it too much to ask for people to understand their social ranking? It's not that great. It's just not that great. We can continue. I just needed to get that off my chest because it's just like, what the fuck is this?
And then they ended up becoming a burden because all they want to do is ruminate about their problem over and over again without actually trying to do something about it. So, like that, yeah, that's about it. That comes to mind.
The story of the creator. In my channel, I used to welcome everybody, and a lot of smaller creators, because I'm small, but even smaller ones, and I used to occasionally check in on them. How's your content? Hope everything's doing well. What's coming up on your channel, kind of stuff. And there was one particular creator I used to do that with. How's it going? Blah blah blah. How's it? What you doing on your channel and what have you? And he did it with my co-host Wiccan as well. I didn't realize till afterwards. Is that one day while I was live, he was like, "You're cheating on me," kind of thing. Like, you're
cheating on me.
And I'm like, huh?
No, this is the thing I'm talking about, dude.
Yeah.
In his head,
I'm just like, why? Why do they think they're important?
That didn't exist, and I think that
Mm-hmm.
trolls, especially, they associate certain people because they might remind them of certain situations.
Okay, pause. We're gonna define trolls. Fucking idiots. Fucking idiots. To be 100% honest, people, these are fucking idiots. Trolls. A person who intentionally provokes others by posting inflammatory or disruptive messages online with the goal of creating conflict or upsetting others. That is what a troll is. It's not deep. It's not that fucking deep.
Yeah, and it comes from the word that talking about like basically setting up a trap for someone and you're dragging them.
Yeah, that's all it is. But let's continue. I just need to define these things because they just fucking spout words and fucking don't use them correctly. It's so fucking
that person who has no idea what the hell is going on. So there's definitely a lot of unhappy people on these platforms as well. As I am a bit of a flirt clue, but the way I'm online, that's the way I am in real life.
Mm-hmm.
So when people turn to personal attacks, but that's all they do. People don't when the trolls or the haters start personally attacking you, they don't attack your, what you do, your content, your job, your whatever. They attack you personally because that's the only direction they can go in.
Right.
They do both. They do both.
Yes, conflict
They
is
do
a
both.
natural and global. Yes.
Super
Yeah, I
stupid.
think that's a bit of a jump there, though.
That's life on default.
Huh?
A bit of a jump. That was a bit of a leap there, though.
Yeah. Yeah. They don't attack. They attack you personally, and they attack your ideas. They do both. They're trying to get a rise out of you. That's
any methodology to get a rise out of you for you to get upset.
Yep.
And
that's it. That's it. But let's go. Let's also that's a pretty
conflict is
it's a pretty basic fucking thing to say. Conflict is natural and unavoidable.
Right? And learn how to solve problems and whatnot, become stronger. It's just that as it relates to today, this situation, I'm trying to minimize it. And as a host, that's what I'm supposed to do. Right? That's how I see it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, it was. I wanted to run this by you about, because I was talking about the dinosaur media. It is an interesting take by this gentleman on subreddit about parasocial relationships, and he let me see.
Oh yeah, the subreddit.
Saying, let me see, is it sharing? No. Take that down.
Listen, guys, if you have to use a subreddit to make your point, that you've lost.
I do that all the time, though.
You've lost.
My boomer status. There we go. Yeah, he was saying, this person was saying, parasocial relationship with internet personalities are just wild. I've worked in the entertainment business for over 2 decades now, and starting with old traditional media, TV and radio, and as of late, I've done a lot of work with streamers and YouTubers personalities. With old media, only a rare occasion you get some just obsessed with a host, DJ, news anchor, etc. Someone who just loves listening or watching them daily to the point where they feel they know them. And with streamers and YouTubers, especially ones who interact with the people, who participate with the people in their chat rooms in real time, it's at a whole new level. And I've seen these fans meet their favorite internet personalities in real life on many occasions, and the closeness they feel with these people is so much higher than I've seen before. And you probably maybe not people who met physically, but there's probably some good friendships or
I've made some amazing friendships. Like I said, there is good. We're not saying it's all bad. There is good that can come out of social media. But I think it's important to highlight the bad, so moving forward we can improve.
Right. And then this person says
fails to highlight any of the actual bad things. It's so dumb. Okay, yeah. Thanks for pausing. Here's the thing. If you're reading a subreddit post, you're already beyond at anything reasonable, because you have to take this person at their word that they are who they say they are.
Yeah, it's anecdotal.
Which already goes against your thing of trying to be anti-parasocial, because you're believing this person without having met them, knowing nothing about them. You're already fucking feeding into the thing. You're feeding into the thing that
it's like going to a YouTube comment section for education.
Yep. It truly is. And if the goal is to be informative here, don't use an unverified source to back your arguments up. Don't ever fucking do that. Use verified sources where they link to multiple sources. So like what we did earlier, like use that to actually back your arguments up, so that they know that you're not actually just speaking from your ass and just fucking being like, I found a subreddit post. It's not hard to do these things. It didn't take me very long to find all that shit that we've been talking about tonight. It literally was me in a fever dream fucking doing all this. So
but,
it shouldn't be
most
difficult.
People I think a lot of people, they have to fight like what is it, like I don't know if that's the right word, cognitive bias, where they're going to like seek out confirmation.
Yeah, they have to.
And there's plenty of material that'll confirm their biases.
Here's the thing: if they want to confirm their biases, fine, perfectly fine. At least link me something that isn't a subreddit post, right?
Yeah.
like, fuck. Like, if you want to confirm your biases, then I can actually argue against you and be like, okay, you have some level of understanding of this, so I can actually argue against this. This is just like basic, like, this isn't even basic level of fucking understanding. This is like way below, like, this is what I would expect a teenager to have in figuring out how to format a problem.
Yeah.
But we can continue. If I'll let him fucking keep reading this stupid subreddit.
Wait, did I read that already? Oh yeah, it's been my experience that the vast majority of fans of all personalities, both old and new media, are super polite and respect boundaries, but there are outliners. With the old media, there were fans who literally thought personalities were directing messages directly at them during their broadcast. And these people were obviously mentally unwell. That's like that person you just mentioned, huh? But with these streamers, I've seen a much higher percentage of fans, people who come across as otherwise mentally stable, that also feel they really know these people. And I also seen a lot on quite a few people that the person you see and hear when a camera or mic is turned on is more often than not a character they're playing. In reality, many of them are just normal, boring people like the rest of us. Even more so after they've been on for hours at a time. If they were to grab a coffee with one of their favorite personalities, they wouldn't be meeting the person they've known from the videos. And I learned this the hard way when I took a YouTuber on a date over a decade ago. I would say though, like I definitely have like a persona when I go on these lives, but all that persona is probably just a little louder version of who I am, but the core is still the same. And maybe that can be at someone's detriment. You think?
Right. Yeah.
We
No,
don't have that
absolutely.
buffer.
No.
Well, I've definitely noticed that
Oh god.
sometimes certain creators
Let's hear what she
will
says.
have their YouTube persona and there'll be someone completely different in real life. And to an extent, I guess I think maybe is it possibly somebody you become someone that you wish you were in real life.
Uh-huh.
Okay, I want to address this real quick.
That could be
Just a real quick
you...
addressing. The sad truth is that people play a character in real life as well. It's just the sad reality of people.
I mean, it's a necessity, actually.
Yeah, it's just one of the sad realities of the world that we all play a character to some degree.
You go to work.
It's like people code switch, all these other things. You play a character throughout your daily life. It's not something that's inherently bad. It helps us socialize with people to a higher degree than we would normally socialize. That's what it's used for. And in these types of spaces, it's used for entertainment. Actually focus on the issue that it's people latching onto these personalities. That's the actual issue that you're trying to highlight, but you're focusing on the weird aspect of like characters. And it's just like, yeah, we all play characters in real life as well. It's not anything that is like completely removed from like the real world.
Mm-hmm. But it could be the simple thing, just like an example, is like when you go out in public, you just cuss less. That's a different character in a sense.
Yep. You just it's as simplistic. It could be simple things where it's just like at work, I'm not going to behave the same way as I do in these. I'm going to act more professional, right? Like you're just putting on an act. That's all it is. It's hard to understand, but again, I just wanted to address that real quick. You can keep playing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, well, especially if you're a person that, like we said earlier, didn't feel like they have much of a voice, either in the past or in their current situation. So yeah, that could be.
Yeah, I think there's a lot
like a paper tiger.
Right. Yeah.
An extreme case.
Exactly. I think there's a lot of people that pretend to be someone else because that's what they want to be in real life. But they're not heard in real life. They maybe feel inadequate in real life.
Mm-hmm.
And so they put on a persona online because that's what they want to be.
Right.
Or they just want to fit in. It's not that difficult to figure out.
Puff the chest out.
Puff the chest out.
Yeah. Yeah, this person said, yeah, and Mrs. Flo, I'm reading a subreddit about parasocial relationship from a person that was in the looks like it was a lawyer that was in the entertainment field for many years, and they switched to internet, helping
is that
internet streamers.
verified? Nope.
And they also said, but I guess this is just a new evolution of media. For a while, we didn't know what actors sounded like or what radio DJs looked like. Before music videos, we didn't even know what our favorite bands looked like performing unless we saw them live or on talk shows. That's true. And since the beginning of my career, I've seen the general population become way more media savvy than they ever were before. They can call out obvious PR stunts and big
okay, so you can acknowledge that they become more media savvy, but
from there.
Doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense. How can you acknowledge that people become more media savvy and still say that they're falling into the same pit holes as they always have? It doesn't make sense. Keep going, Spice. Just let it keep playing. Otherwise, my brain is gonna melt here.
From their past mistakes as much anymore. I think with this parasocial thing, people eventually wise up to it as well, as many have already. But still, seeing them in real life is still a pretty weird thing. Now that's from a perspective of a more of a like top tier presenter, media, internet presenter, live streamer or whatever. But like we were talking about before too, about the tiers, so was it social tiers on YouTube? You want to talk a little bit about that?
Right. Yeah, I mean, for the first time ever, we're on a platform where we're with where we're with celebrities, where with entertainers, where with academics, where with scholars, everybody is on the same platform, right? Everybody, and I've never ever thought about social class because I'm working class, right?
Right.
I'm working class. All the people surrounding me are working class. I've never thought about class until I had my experience on YouTube. And the thing is, and there is a classing system on YouTube, right? There is.
Mm-hmm.
And it's I'm definitely something I'm going to be looking into more.
Again, this is completely normal. Anytime you get a large group of people, you get a social class being formed. That's it. Social hierarchies exist in every large group of human beings.
And Lee says, I'm sure there are true friends born of YouTube too. Absolutely. I've made some great friendships.
Oh, yeah, man. My friend, my best friend now, Shadow Buddha, we met on another stream like almost 4 years ago. Yeah, definitely. There's been other people I met too. Master Creator 23, True Life, all lots. List goes on and on, man.
Right. And social media also enables psychotic episodes. I think, when it comes to people with mental health disorders, I can't help but to, my observations have been that online they're triggered to have more psychotic episodes than they would do in real life, because in real life there's consequences, right?
No evidence for that.
There is. Yeah.
There is. And so
the saying stuff for the sake of saying
Trump
stuff.
And ask him to bring your institutions back.
She's saying that there are no consequences. Again,
47?
We've proved that there are consequences.
Yeah.
It's not hard to figure out. It's so dumb. By the way, is the stream still running, guys? Just want to know.
Let me see. It looks good to me.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure. Because my end is all kinds of fucked up today. But let's keep going.
At least we got the 51 minutes.
I mean, you probably have some uncommon commonality with them. Both are Geminis. You're very polarizing people.
Mm-hmm.
We're not going to talk about that because fuck that.
The thing is, with mental health and all that, I've always been, you went to my channel. I always try to support people with mental health. I think it's important that we support people with mental health issues, but at the same time, that can also be a double-edged knife, right?
Yeah, because you're not a professional.
Right. I'm not a professional. And whereas people
Based.
do need help in that respect, where they're not taking their medication or they're not seeing a therapist, I think that, you know, they project all the craziness that goes on in their heads online, and it's
Still has no idea what projecting
it's a sad
means.
state of affairs, because
Otherwise,
some
she would be
people
making her argument
genuinely
stronger.
are very ill. They're
If
very,
I
very
could
ill.
put it somebody,
They're
you
not
could say
taking
they're
their
bringing
meds,
their
they're not taking
craziness
any help from
online.
therapy.
And like she would, if
I
she
don't know
knew,
why the word project would be used.
yeah, like she would know how to actually formulate an argument here, and if she actually knew what that word meant instead of just using it as a catch-all.
Yeah.
But it's just like, okay, she doesn't know. She doesn't know the basics, and she tried to put herself off as an expert. And I'm sorry that NPC's like, she's not a doctor. Yeah, but what the fuck? You're saying you want to write legislation for this? It's just like, yes, you are proposing yourself as an expert. No matter how you try to cut it, that's what you're doing. My anecdotal evidence is stronger than any empirical data that you bring, is essentially what you're trying to tell. So, let's continue. We are getting there. We like as we go on, we have been pausing way less, because I think we've addressed a lot of the points already. So we're not like having to readdress everything all over again. But yeah, let's continue.
Stop projecting online, and it's not, it's when you stand back and look in and not be in and look out, it's very interesting to see. You know, it's interesting to see the ones that, you know, clearly do have mental health issues, and clearly need a lot of help. But then at the same time, there are people who, like I said, may have social anxiety, and I completely understand why they would interact online, because it's easier for them.
Right.
We ain't doctors, cheeky chops. No, we're not. We're not doctors.
Yeah.
For someone who
It's
wants to
easier,
propose
I guess it is for
legislation
some people to interact online, but I mean, it would be nice to have more friends in the 3D squish reality, but it is what it is right now.
I am a mental health advocate, but I also have to be realistic in that when people with mental health don't take their meds or are irresponsible, then they have to be accountable.
Mm-hmm.
They have to be accountable. Yes, they have to be
People
accountable.
got to take accountability.
Yes, absolutely. They have to be.
There's a lot of streamers that are
not the private
YouTube,
company,
Twitch,
not the government. They
Instagram
have to be
lives that are
accountable.
mental health advocates for sure. There's a lot, you know, because that's the $1 million question. The topic is, you know, if you I've talked about this by myself with just one person in the chat. What's his name? Look Within, Patrick Bateman. Like the fact that, dude, pretty much everybody's gone. Their mind is they're blasted. They're not right, or they're not right. And the reason I say this is because, you know, I've been there too. And I see that most folks aren't focusing on what they have in front of them, and instead they rather put up this false persona that, because they don't want to be seen as taking the L ever.
You know what's a good way? Wait, pause.
It just makes it even more cornier and stupid, right?
You know what's a good way to not be seen taking an L? Removing any chats that are probably pushing back on the person that you're talking to. That's a good way to be perceived as not taking an L. Yeah. It's the do as I say, not as I do logic bullshit that they try to pawn off to everyone else. It's just like, okay, you can keep talking. It's just like, yeah, why am I supposed to take you seriously at this point? There's nothing that is here that is acknowledged the main traits. There's nothing that acknowledges what the actual issues are. They barely can even fucking keep a coherent fucking thought together. And I feel like they know they exhibit these traits, but it's just not a big deal for them. But we can keep going. I just need to fucking say that just because, you know, this is
And there might
Actually
be people
crazy
that said
people
like,
shit.
yeah, you're doing it right now, Gabriel or Mel, but it's like, hey, maybe we are, but at least I'm calling myself out, and not just for the
Right.
sake of being
Yeah, no big
self-righteous, but
deal.
for the
Like I said,
fact that it is what it is, man.
it
And
is
once
Right.
what it
you
is.
start taking care of what's in the present moment, I mean, that's when the real life begins.
And I think when you hold a mirror to someone's face and they see that it's ugly, you're gonna get pushback. You're gonna get hate because nobody wants to
Yes,
see the ugly side,
absolutely.
right?
And you should
No,
be prepared
most
for
people
that.
don't.
Right.
Definitely, at least in the beginning. I think some of us that have true grit do, but at first, it doesn't mean we don't get a little thin-skinned when they first tell us, when we first look at ourselves, you know. But then, if we're really messing up, we got to know. You got to
But you should
suck
be
it up and
prepared for
sack up.
that. That's a part of human
And sometimes
interaction.
this happens also. Sometimes, and you know, I speak about because I am an advocate for mental health, but my brother, you know, I have many discussions with my brother about this
Okay,
topic,
pause.
and he's quite right. He says,
Pause just for a second. I'm going to ask you guys a question. If you call yourself an advocate, would you say that you're necessarily portraying some level of expertise onto something?
A lot of knowledge, yeah.
Yeah, all right. At least some basic understanding. I like it. Just seems like weird that she's like, I'm not a doctor, but then it's like I'm an advocate. I want to propose legislation. It's like, what the fuck are you doing?
No, she got her expertise from one of those YouTube horoscope channel.
Yeah, well,
They
probably.
talk about narcissism half the time.
Yeah, it's just so dumb to call yourself an advocate and then fucking be like, oh, I'm an advocate. It's like, I wish people's brains were better. But this is where we're at. This is where we're at. Let's continue. We're almost through what we need to get through.
you know what? Sometimes people they use that as an excuse to behave shitty, but it is what it is. It's an excuse. So there has to be accountability, whether you even if you suffer from mental health, there has to be a, you know, for what you do, there has to be accountability, right?
Right, it has to be. I'll be accountable for
there
this.
has to be
Lady
accountability.
Flo, who I like. Katie Case, she said certainly one-sided. We can't push back on the BS that's being. I mean, I don't think it's BS, but you do. Okay, I mean, I'll take it for what it is. You could, maybe it's BS. Okay, but the point is, it's like this is my channel. This is how I'm running the shit right now, and like that would suck if I really felt like I had to. I really wanted to share with with the panel and the chat like how I really feel, how angry I was or annoyed. That would make me pissed off. I'd probably just leave and not keep saying anything. But yeah, man, I see where you're coming from. You know, it's not like I don't understand where you're coming from. Yeah, but it's like I guess people just don't do it like that. Where I was brought up, you know, if it's your house, you do what you do.
Yeah, she was.
You know, you do as you do, and if you don't want to take your
And
shoes off and walk around,
you know, people when they're losing an intellectual conversation, start acting like children and stop, you know, spitting their toys at the pram and all that. So it is what it is.
It's like, you don't want ad homs.
Clog up.
You don't want ad homs, but then you then Mel ad homs Mrs. Flo. It's just like, what is the line we're drawing here? And if someone's gonna sit here and try and tell me that calling someone a child is not an ad hom, then I don't know. You've lost the plot because they're not engaging with the argument itself. They're just doing some characteristic bullshit. That again, it's just like, this is so stupid. This is so retarded. Keep going, Vice. I just need to fucking say that.
Up the chat with that spam of putting letters and shit like that.
And that is against TOS. So
it's kind of a
it's hilarious. It's hilarious. You know, you crack on.
Was not against TOS. She just put trans in the chat.
People who are insecure or who have, you know, not a lot of self-confidence.
Oh yeah,
ad hominems.
We're not gonna do that, like ad hominems and all that shit.
Okay, as she does ad hominems.
Well, I didn't mean to ban you. My bad. I meant to just put you on timeout. Oh well, I'll fix it later.
It's just like, okay, cool, whatever.
Yeah. So yeah, like I said, the fact that people want to throw hate at me for whatever reason, they don't like what I'm saying. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't affect my real life.
She knows the reason.
guys.
Wait,
It's not
pause.
real.
She fucking knows the reason. Stop acting like a dumb bitch. Oh my god. You know the fucking reason, you dumb bitch. Okay? It's because when you upset people as humans, when you upset someone, they let you know. That's the part of the consequences that you keep talking about. It's not a hard concept to understand. I don't know why this is so foreign to you, but if you upset people by performing bad actions, they'll let you know that in the future. If that's brand new information to you, then fuck, dude. I don't know how you've made it this far. Because this should be basic level fucking like 5-year-olds know this. 5-year-olds know if I punch my friend's gonna punch me back. That's super base level interactions like that. This should have been taught to you a long time ago, during the dinosaur age. Like, my brain's dying. I'm sorry, guys. I know I'm taking up a lot of the time just fucking yelling at this point because it's retarded that she can't form any fucking logical arguments. But it's just like, come on. Like, she knows. She fucking knows. Let's continue. It's so frustrating to have people like this around.
Live your life.
Not. Seriously.
Yeah.
I was always told, like, from my big brothers, like, just move on if you don't like something.
Yeah.
Just move on. Like, keep it moving. Yeah.
Yeah. And personal attacks like that on my looks, they don't bother me too much.
Yeah. Well, Jordan Peterson was great right here.
Yes, I love him.
He has a lot of good things.
I don't always agree with all of his opinion, but I certainly agree with his opinions on social media. It's insane. It's insanity. It's people behaving not all, because like I said, they are good people, but it's people behaving at their worst and not not being accountable.
They are accountable.
Slander and lie and all that kind of stuff.
Slander lawsuits exist.
YouTube should have, how YouTube, when you're a creator, has a copyright tool. I think that YouTube should have a tool to help sue people too.
Jeez Louise.
Right. To sue them?
Yeah, to sue them for slander.
Oh god, pause.
Damn.
Pause. Okay, personally, the copyright tool is used before seeking any legal action. It's not an actual legal action being conducted. When you have an actual legal fucking case to take for a copyright, YouTube takes a step back because they're like, fuck no, we don't want to be involved with this, because they're not going to hire lawyers and they're not going to be the judge and jury of every conflict. And then when you say the internet is not real, then what are you arguing for? Then the negative repercussions to people's mental health wouldn't be a necessary point that you need to point out. If the internet is not real, then doxing someone wouldn't have negative effects in someone's real life, as you probably are aware of, Mel. It's super simple to understand these fucking argumentation lines, but if you can't say things that are contradicting your argumentation as well, you can't be like, the internet is so bad and it's creating all these fucking problems, breeding narcissism, and say the internet's not real. Like that, these are contradictory statements.
There's one funny thing about all that shit, saying that while using the social media platform.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, it's just like, I need these people to go outside and interact with people. Not just like a baseline interaction either, like actually form a relationship with people outside.
Isn't that what they're advocating for?
No, I need them to. I need these two people to. Because they don't understand that the things that they're complaining about online happen in the real world. I need them to go outside and see, oh, this shit fucking happens outside too. Crazy logic that we fucking have to arrive from. It's not a complex fucking thing. It shouldn't be this complex for you to understand, but you need to touch grass sometimes. You just actually need to touch grass. I'm sorry. I just the copyright whole thing is just always so stupid. Where someone tries to make an argument, it's like we should be able to fucking like.
Hey,
Okay,
this
I'm gonna let her go.
that's the
I'm gonna let her go
whole
15
point.
more seconds because I know she said something else, but like, and then we can touch on it.
That's the whole point of the show, Horny Man. The whole point of the show.
Yeah, the whole point is to break down how dumb these people are. Let's go. Jamie! I need 15 more seconds of her talking.
When people are slandering and lying and making up bullshit, I think there should be a tool to help creators protect themselves and their communities.
Okay.
That's a whole
now we can pause.
level of
we can pause.
business mergers.
We can pause there. If Googling a lawyer is beyond your fucking scope, then you shouldn't be using any of these platforms and you should not be advocating to change these platforms. If that's that hard for you, then you should really fucking find some help. I don't know what to tell you at this point. Googling a lawyer should not be hard for you. Simple understanding on that. But fuck, if it isn't more brain dead fucking arguments of like, I thought of this and I thought it was a good idea, and it's just like, okay, did you give any reason? Like, did you contradict that idea in any way? Did you challenge that idea in any way? Nope, not at all. So let's continue.
You know,
right.
The pairing of the lawyers with
right
with the YouTube. Yeah, I mean that's your opinion. That's not my opinion, but yeah, that's yeah. A lot. I'll say this: a lot of people sue people here over on Facebook on over slander all the time, all the time.
Crab and like, Crazy Bob. Like,
it can
yes,
be like a little
absolutely.
thing, like someone said, like your dog pooped on my yard, and you called me a garbage person or something, and they'll take him to court on Facebook. Why was that on Facebook? Yeah. That's wild.
Right. So it's not that deep, but sometimes when people go out and go real life and try and ruin reputation, hey Robbie, you know,
people
in real life, that's definitely time for suing people. So
having consequences on the internet? What? Is she saying there are consequences on the internet? Crazy! Fucking insane! Wow! I didn't know that. It's almost like I didn't spend the last 3 hours saying there are consequences to the internet. Fuck! Okay, we can go.
I'm just thinking about that. Press the button to sue people. It's like I was thinking about for that. That's like something you'd see on like Futurama or The Simpsons or some shit.
Yeah, dude, it's so dumb. It's so fucking dumb. No one understand. This is not having a basic understanding on how the law works or how these systems work. And as a YouTube creator, she should know that they tell you when you copyright something that that's not legal action. That's never been legal action. They'll withhold the fucking copyright and when you present some legal case because they're like, nope, we're not getting involved in that because that's not they're not the judge and jury. It's about the jurisdiction that you're in because these are multi-continental fucking companies that are working with these fucking within these countries. It's just like
and tell me if I'm wrong. It's like offsetting your responsibility of your community and what you're doing onto that
onto the big conglomerate. Yeah, it's just offsetting your fucking all responsibility of anything happening on your channel is your fault instead of having moderators or fucking moderating your own chat or removing people from a community that you think could be necessarily bad, right? Like these are things that it's just you want to push that off to someone else instead of doing it yourself, which is stupid.
It's like blaming, like you say you're a McDonald's manager and you're blaming the corporation because you're a shitty manager. Maybe.
Yeah. It's McDonald's who's fucked, not this fucking particular McDonald's when the McDonald's up the street is working perfectly fine, right? It's just okay, let's. It just doesn't. it doesn't scream of a person who has like looked into this at all in any degree, any fashion. And here's the thing: I give her props where she needs props, but there hasn't been a lot of instances where feel like I need to give her props on anything because it seems like she doesn't know this stuff. Like, so let's just keep going, Vice.
Is being sued, and quite rightly, there should be. Like I said, freedom of speech doesn't protect freedom of lies.
For sure, or like bigotry, for example.
Right.
That's something that I've seen a lot in all of the above sector.
Also, crab. Yeah, that's a good point.
Well, Paul says I don't think that would work, as each country has different definitions of. No, you're right, but I mean, just have a tool where they can be connected with lawyers to get advice.
Mm-hmm.
Who's paying these lawyers?
Yeah.
Okay. Advice on it. All right.
Think.
Right.
Like a sue button.
Think.
Well, no, like how to conduct a cease and desist, for example.
Google it.
Yeah. I see.
Machine Life, yeah, they are some obsessed weirdos. They really are. They are.
Did you say that? Yeah.
Again,
yeah,
no.
and actually someone who's in chat contacted my son. Thank you, Robin.
Somebody did that?
No ad-hocs, but we'll direct them.
This person?
In someone else's channel. I'll write it. Can I write in the backstage? I don't know if I can write.
You want to you said whiten it? Lighten it?
No. I said I can't. I don't know if I can write in the back of private chat. Let me see if I can write in private chat. Yeah, there's someone in chat who openly admitted to contacting my minor son.
Damn.
Yeah.
Okay. Pause.
This is what I mean about
Pause.
videos.
Pause.
There you go.
Pause. Okay, someone contacted her son. Right? Says the person says it on a channel, but doesn't say the name, so that this person could have consequences to their actions. The thing that she wants to happen is not happening because she provides cover for these people when you don't say the name. I don't think she understands that. I think it's a foreign concept to her of what actual fucking consequences look like, because it is super simple. If this person said on a live stream, then fucking say the name. Why are you fucking so scared? It's either you do not have that confirmed in any way and you just want to say some shit, or that you want to provide cover for this person because you don't think that it's your part of your business, even though they contacted your son. This is retarded. This is actual retard, bad parenting shit. Like, if someone contacted a kid of mine, I'm fucking spreading that name out, being like, this motherfucker contacts kids, fucking alienate this motherfucker. Super fucking simple. I don't understand, like, how she doesn't understand that consequences only happen when you know the name of the person that actually did the action. Otherwise, we would all have to assume that we're all the person that fucking contacted her son. And that's fucking stupid. Ugh. I just hate this shit. I actually hate this shit. I don't even know if she knows that she's providing cover. That's the thing that actually frustrates the shit out of me about these things, where it's just like, fuck, dude, you should be able to analyze that very coherently as a fucking parent, but nope, you can't. You just can't. But yeah, let's continue. I don't want to drive on that point too much because I don't know if that even has merit.
Robbie S?
No, Robbie's lovely. He's lovely.
Oh, that's somebody else? Okay.
I'll put it in the back chat.
Okay. Oh, okay. I see.
Yeah.
Yeah. Damn.
Yeah. Damn.
What's it take? I mean, who does that?
People with mental health issues. That's who does that.
Yeah.
So, and openly admitted it to it as well in someone else's chat. It's like, wow. Not only are you contacting minors,
say the name.
But you would openly admit it. It's like, okay,
say the fucking name.
Crazy. You do you, I do me.
You do you, I do me.
Leave the kids alone. Absolutely, cheeky chops. And this is some of the things that, going forward, people are going to say, what are you lobbying for? I'm lobbying to protect kids, just for starters.
Also, pause right here. Pause right here. This should be a dog whistle to anyone. If anyone says to you, I'm lobbying to protect kids, you know that person has done some shady shit with some kids. Okay? Like that's just as simple as that. That should be a dog whistle. There has never been a person in history that's like, I'm lobbying to protect kids and means it. Like, in a good way. It's always the fucking weirdest fucking people that say this shit. Why the fuck is this? Oh my god, it's don't say this shit. Don't say this shit.
Well, it's like a shield for their whatever they're doing.
Yeah, just don't say
like
this shit.
It's intuition pumping or like playing on people's emotion.
Well, what I'm saying is like, yeah, like it is an intuition pump inherently, right? But when you're just like, the people that use this phrase, right? The people that say I'm lobbying to protect kids have historically never been good people, right?
Yeah.
They never have a kid. They never have a kid's best intentions in mind. They are either the super weirdest or have malicious fucking intent for something else. It's always those people that say I'm lobbying to protect kids or I'm doing this to protect kids. Like I hate to say it, we came from a fucking community where we fought those motherfuckers so often, all right? Like it's just like, yeah, it's not hard to figure out that this should be a dog whistle for people to be like, I don't want to engage with this person anymore.
Oh yeah. And those who know.
Yeah. Yeah, Mel's trying to hit the sue button right now, but luckily it has not been implemented yet. So
she gonna figure I ain't got no money, so go sue away.
Continue it, Vice. We are almost through this.
What is this? Somebody. You're destroying the rest of your country's freedom of speech. Criminals can't be in the internet. What's next, men, women?
Katie K, good question.
Blacks or men and women are same as what? Okay. Any thoughts?
No, I just think
that
I
they're
don't
the same.
think
They're a
criminals
minority
should be
class.
allowed to victimize people online.
Non-criminals should not be allowed to victimize people, you fucking retard. You actually brain dead, smooth fucking brained, stupid bitch. Oh my god.
Murderers shouldn't be allowed to murder.
It has happened plenty of times. I remember one time watching
anyone can victimize anyone. You don't have to be a criminal.
And somebody in chat donated quite a large amount of money. And in her comment, she said that she was dying and that she wanted to contribute the last of her savings to this channel. You know what? That creator didn't even acknowledge what she said.
She was
pause this.
Yeah, and she
pause
wanted
this.
to contribute the.
She says she took time off and is now talking about a story that happened a week ago or 2 weeks ago. What the? That's not taking time off. You're still entangled in the mess. You're still talking about the mess. You're just as entangled as you were when you were here. It's and then you give a story with like zero context and no one can verify this, so they can't deny or fucking confirm this claim. Oh fuck, dude, this is actual smooth brain shit. Go ahead, Vice. It's just like, what the fuck, dude.
The loss of her, everything that she had before she left the planet to the creator, and that creator didn't even acknowledge what she'd said. Nothing.
Yeah.
And it to me, like, that's who I want to try and protect, the vulnerable.
Right.
Yeah.
The delusions of grandeur.
Yep.
Oh my god.
Vulnerable people. So, yeah. It to me, it's insanity, and I think that when I say I want to protect, I want to try and put measures.
I want to protect the children,
people from people with a criminal past. Is that something bad? Because if it is, then I'm bad.
Like you criticize her for that, then their next response.
Are we not men?
You don't like children. You don't want to protect
all children.
Yep. It's just the straw man argument of like, I'm trying to fucking protect vulnerable people. So what's bad about that? And it's just like you're not trying to protect anyone. You're just trying to fucking get your best self interest forward. It's not about these fucking people. It's about you got slighted on the fucking internet and now are butthurt about it. Simple, not hard to figure out. I tried to take you seriously up until this point, but we are about an hour in. We're an hour in, and it's been nonsense this whole time. It's been zero research, zero backups, zero anything. Like, there is nothing that they have shown here that can like enable their arguments in any strong way. And I think I've made a stronger argument for their fucking case than they have, which is stupid. And that was within the first 30 minutes of the stream. So it's oh god, guys, I don't know how much more of this I can take. I know there's only like 20 more minutes that I want to actually watch because my stopping point's at like 1 hour and 25 minutes because the Machine Lies goes on and I want to acknowledge a little bit of it and then end the stream there.
I am probably about to hop off as well.
But it is a lot at this point. It is actually some of the dumbest shit you will ever hear. From people.
I think we covered quite a bit as well.
Oh, we got through a lot of this. Like, we got through an hour of it, but it's just, again, not super. These ideas aren't super thought out, and it's not. It doesn't take a genius to figure this out, right? But I just want to do this as a thing now, moving forward, where I break down arguments and see how much merit a person has. And scale them and like see if their arguments are even coherent in any way.
Because you're an actual expert, right?
I'm not an expert. I can just look all these things up and rely on experts to actually verify some of these things or not. Yeah.
Like there's a base level of like, I mean, I'm guilty of just going to like an article and like a knee jerk, just thinking I'm looking something up when I'm just like, I went to like a news article and I didn't look into it any further. Like, there's certain steps you take to like verify things. It's not just going to one page or something like that.
Yeah. And there's nothing bad on relying on experts to get your like opinion, right? But
the level of confirmation bias we're all guilty of doing sometimes.
Yeah, that's
you can be aware that.
I think that even like with confirmation bias, you can still get to a coherent argument. My issue with like this particular stream that we're watching is that this is not even like confirmation bias. It's more, this is all intuitive and anecdotal evidence to support your intuitive thing, right? Like, it's not even, there's nothing that proves any of the things that they said, and it's kind of crazy that we went this far. We're an hour in and he wants us to be informative, he wants us to be a good chat, whatever, and she's portraying herself as an expert. We've covered why she is. Like, she can try and say she's not, but she is. Like, when you're saying you're going to write legislation, that's what you're portraying. You know better than most people, so you want to get this into legislation. That's what that means. It's not hard like Trail to Draw. But if you're doing all that, I expect you to at least have some of the basics down, like being able to define words and not using them as catch-alls, being able to conduct provide studies to your actual things instead of just being like this. These things are correlated because of this, or this is a breeding ground for malignant narcissism, and it's just like, okay, like, what the fuck are you even saying here? So yeah, it's not. I expect a lot more from people from this. Like,
I don't think you should.
and by a lot more, it's just like basic shit. Like, if you can define a term and fucking get your argument across, and then be like, I have these two data sets that back that up. That's a big fucking leap from where you're at here, right? This is just like, again, this is like something a fucking.
You'd be surprised how many stupid people are out there.
Yeah, but this is just something a teenager could fucking say, dude. This is just the fucking logic that a fucking I could have in middle school, and it would just be like the same fucking thing. And it's just like, what the fuck? Your understanding on it is so slim. Like, you have to fucking do something about that. But let's continue. I know I'm ranting a lot at this point.
Including you, my friend. Including you, huh? Yeah. Check this out, Mel. This Jordan Peterson.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm in a chill mode. I'm in vacation mode almost right now.
What's the first reference to an actual expert?
Yep.
But probably not in the...
Yeah, I'm loath to make intergenerational comparisons, because every generation thinks that this current young generation is worse than any generation that's ever existed.
What is better and what is worse than ever right now in our culture?
We have no idea what this intense focus on social media is doing to everyone, but particularly to young people. I mean, can you imagine that?
God damn it!
Nothing you ever did as a teenager could be forgotten.
Clue.
I live in a world where.
Can you imagine if anything? You just said if everything you said, was never forgotten. If, especially when you're a teenager, that's pretty bad.
Right.
That would
and
be
I
pretty
want to
bad.
thank Robbie. I want to thank Robbie for his comment as well.
This one right here.
Yeah.
She's just reading the chats, dude. She's just reading the chat. She's not even paying attention to Peterson.
That Mel was doing something good, and I'm a 9-year-old in YouTube age, so Robbie's been around. He vouches for you. Yeah, I vouch for you. You're good people.
Yeah, that doesn't mean anything.
Said horrible things about me on the internet and on social media.
Yeah, that's fun, eh?
Yeah, it's so fun. I know you have a lot of experience with that, but I don't know them. So I can write that off to they don't even know me, right? But now this happens in school and a kid can read this and they're in class with that person or they have a locker near them. And I think that
pause that shit. Oh my fucking god, I hate these talking points. I actually am going to blow oh my god. Okay. Bullying has existed before social media. People had to interact with their bullies all the fucking time beforehand. This isn't a new fucking concept. This is to say that these kids have to interact with someone that said something bad with them about them on the fucking internet. It's just like fucking. Do you understand how rumors started in high school? They were fucking horrible. Fucking bullying in fucking school was fucking horrible. This is fucking stupid. This is fucking retarded talking points. They don't understand that this shit happens in real life, and it's just like it's like well, social media. Sorry, I just needed to get that out there because it's just like, dude.
I think that's the best quote of the show today.
Yeah. It's just like, this should be super simple to understand that bullying has existed for a long time. The issue isn't that social media is fucking doing this. It's the issue that bullying has been moved to a different source. The issue itself being the bullying, not the actual tool that's being used for bullying, right? Address the actual point, not the side tangent point of if we get rid of social media, kids won't be bullied. That's not logic train that you can use.
And I don't know if I heard it right. Maybe I heard it wrong. Like, let's say if she's a teacher, right, and she has a social media account. And I'm thinking, like, you need to be super careful about locking your fucking shit down. If they're like, I don't know.
I just don't like you have to sit next to someone's locker or be sitting in class with someone who said something mean about you. Like, yeah, that happens in schools. That's part of like interacting with human beings. Some people are gonna have negative. You're gonna have some negative fucking.
I mean, do you have a view on bullying at all?
Like bullying. Like, we should try to mitigate bullying as much as possible, right? Like, I would agree with that argument, But to blame social media as the aspect of bullying is just not realistic in any way, because it's like if you look at any period in time where we've had schooling, bullying has always existed. It's not a unique fucking thing to social media or any fucking communication style. It's just how humans interact. You gotta understand that these are young people learning how to interact with the world in large scales. That's how it first plays out. But we can go let Peterson say his things. I won't argue with Peterson too much.
And horrible thing for a kid to have to deal with. I very much empathize with kids today and social media.
So there's a female pattern of antisocial behavior, and there's a male pattern of antisocial behavior. And the male pattern of antisocial behavior is a lot more physically violent. The female pattern of antisocial behavior is reputation destruction.
Ooh.
What was that? You got a ooh. Run it back. You hear that, Mel? You there, Pandora?
Sorry, I just got a quick call. Yeah, I'm here. I'm listening. This guy, he's a very wise man.
He's wise. Right, he's wise. Based.
A female pattern of anti.
There's gonna be a lack of self-awareness right here,
dude. Oh, she was not listening. She wasn't listening.
No.
She's reading chat. That's what's happening.
And the response, like, "Oh, he's a wise man," like she wasn't listening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let it go, Feist. Let Peterson talk.
Antisocial behavior, and there's a male pattern of antisocial behavior. And the male pattern of antisocial behavior is a lot more physically violent. The female.
Yeah, this is probably why it might be a good for some men to be getting their frustrations off online like this, I guess. But don't go overboard, right? With it.
Male pattern of antisocial behavior is reputation destruction.
Reputation destruction. Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Which we've seen. Yeah. I mean, the women do it here, the men do it here too.
Right. Oh yeah. Bad behavior is genderless. It applies to both.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I mean, one of my guests that used to come on my show on my channel is watching, and he's a numerologist, and he's put hi Mel.
Oh my god, I'm buying some rope. I'm buying some rope. Ugh, numerologist. Fucking I'm buying some rope right now, guys. Oh, god damn, dude.
Well, where's the numerology?
She's like, one of my guests was a numerologist. She's about to fucking explain why a numerologist is valid, but
that right there, that should discredit majority of the shit she said.
Yeah. I have to sit here and explain to you why numerology is dumb. Then I don't know what to do for you. But let's continue, Pice. We're almost through this, man. We're almost at the end game.
He says, you've crossed my mind a few times because you are in 5. And this probably makes more sense to you than it does to me. You are in 5 personal year. I expect a lot of changes to happen this year. You're getting different opportunities, experiencing different things. The adventures, energy, also moving in travel. People that are 5 personal year always go through big changes in their life.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, big changes for sure. For everybody, yeah. What would that was nice of him. That was kind of him to do that. What would you say to people who said that? Would say back on this real quick on this, because this is a good point. What you said about female character. What did he say? Character destruction or something. What would you say?
Reputation destruction.
That you have been guilty of that in terms of like if you were like defending yourself or something like that.
Sorry, ask me that again.
What would you say to someone that said like, oh, you like me or you were guilty of doing that to people in the past in the panel?
Doing what to people in the past?
What she said?
Oh my god,
female,
frustrating.
The energy, the character.
No, the character assassinating the character of somebody. That mode.
If we've done it, assassinating the character.
Yeah.
I think motive is a big thing, isn't it? NPC. Are you assassinating a character because you're trying to point out that that person is a bad person? Are you assassinating a character because of different reasons? Right?
Okay, pause.
That's
Pause.
the dumbest thing I've heard all
So you're
day.
saying-
Pause. Oh my
It's
god.
literally the dumbest thing I heard all
Yeah,
day.
no, it's super retarded. Shout out to the Powder Dusty because he pointed this out in chat as well. But in every scenario, you think you are the good person. In every scenario, you think you are the good person. So when you just say this, you're just saying I can commit bad actions because I think I'm the good person. That's it. It's not hard. Just fucking say, yes, I've character assassinated someone. Whoop-de-fucking do. Is it that? Oh, the levels that this woman will
Actually,
go
reputation destruction, not character assassination.
to. Well, they mentioned character assassination. The Peterson referred to it as differently. They're going more down the character assassination route. But yeah, it's just... it's not hard to figure out what she's about when you can't even take this simple, like, yeah, I've done it.
Does she even understand the meaning of what she's even saying?
No, she doesn't.
Like, it depends on the intent. Oh, man.
Yeah. Intentions shouldn't be... Like, if intentions were good, then we wouldn't yield bad results with good intentions. But they can both yield bad results. Intentions doesn't matter.
I think there needs to be a made distinction between character assassination and just telling the truth about something, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a level of, like... I think there's a level of intent built into character assassination that's malicious.
Like you're already doing the dumb thing, right? But yeah, it's not figuring. She can't figure out that line of logic either. So like, why even spend my time doing that? Explain to her, hey, this would be a better way of phrasing this, but I don't want to make her argumentation stronger because at this point, like, we've gone, what is it? 3.5 hours from their 1 hour. I've extended their live by 3 times what it is.
They should thank you.
Yes. By explaining simple concepts about things that they should probably know, but it's... Oh my god. But again, shout out to the Powder Dusty for providing this to us. This is content. At the end of the day, that's all we look for. But we can play twice.
And that there's exceptions when it's okay.
I think if somebody is a bad person and they're doing bad to innocent people, then yeah, why not point it out? There's lots of channels that do that, right? There's channels that point out other bad creators and they do a great job.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. There's some people that that's their whole MO even. Yeah.
Right. I think motivation and why one does things is key, really. Hang on, Gabriel, give me 1 second.
It's the actions that are key, but whatever.
Obviously, everyone thinks the person they attack are bad.
That's true.
They're just bad.
No, that's true.
Base flow state.
Now the fact is, are they? That's the question. Objectively, I guess you have to get a consensus or something on it. Let's see.
Sorry, Gabriel, I had to step away. I had to just go get a packet of cigarettes. But yeah, no, I mean, look, in life we make choices, right? We move forward. We try and do good, or we try and do bad, or we just in the middle, right? I think that there's a lot of good content creators that do very good on YouTube, but then there's also content creators that aren't, that content creators that go under the muse that they're protecting children, but are quite the opposite.
Okay, pause.
And they
pause.
And they explore.
Go under the muse of protecting children after saying that I'm lobbying to protect children is stupid. It's just stupid. There's no other way to describe this as just not understanding what you're saying anymore, and you're just rambling. This you can continue. It's just that this is just so stupid.
Exploit children. There's creators that want to exploit, like I said, vulnerable people for their money. And it's the enablers that I'm going to be studying, the enablers of bad behavior that do stuff like that.
But brings no actual substance about it.
I definitely want to look into more.
Mm-hmm.
So
well, there's a lot to look at. Yeah, for the chat, I think, Flow State, you in particular, I already said in the beginning, I'm not bringing up the old shit in the chat. So just
no.
You want me to, I don't feel like timing you out or whatever,
yeah.
but
people need to move.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to talk about it another time, that's fine.
Yeah.
I'm talking to Flow State, I guess, right now, and whoever else. Like, I'm not talking about stuff that happened a couple months ago and whatnot.
If it's related to the topic, why can't Plo ask about it? Especially since he paid for the sponsorship.
So, I think that's a third time. What do they say when you say things 3 times? That should be sufficient.
You should be able to ask things related to the topic.
Right
so,
here,
you know.
Right.
Back on this,
what the fuck do I know?
Jordan Peterson tip right here.
Ooh.
And it scales on the internet. Physical aggression doesn't, right?
Right.
Because what can you do?
Right.
It's limited.
Right.
And I'm not saying it's not serious. It can obviously be mortally serious, right? It's serious. Yes. But it does characterize a small minority of men, especially consistently.
Wow.
But female antisocial behavior, which is almost never discussed, there's a large research literature on it. Because people have wondered, that if you look at boys and girls, for example, 2-year-olds, I mentioned them, some 2-year-olds are aggressive, and that's by nature mostly. Okay, so they kick, hit, bite, and steal in groups of 2-year-olds. Now, they're not very harmful because they're 2. But if it isn't socialized, it turns into conduct disorder, and that turns into antisocial and criminal behavior. That's what happens. So most people who are criminal by the time they're 18 were aggressive when they were 2 and weren't socialized. Okay, so now most of those aggressive 2-year-olds are boys. If you define aggression by hitting, kicking, stealing,
most 2-year-olds are violent in general.
The reputation destruction,
not gendered.
That starts early with girls, and that's their form of antisocial behavior. And we don't know what political manifestation female antisocial behavior will produce, because the complete immersement of men and women in the political realm is new.
Also not true. We can look at Mesopotamia and Egypt. Any ancient religion. All the women have been involved for a lot longer than we think.
But if anything, he's laying the groundwork to contradict what they're trying to represent, because they bring it built into social media. It's not like it's causing it.
Yeah,
it's like,
it's just Peterson just has a bunch of talking points that I hate it when he goes down this route. Like when he talks about psychology, I actually give him a little bit of credit, but there's just sometimes where I'm just like, oh, what the fuck?
And he is an expert, though.
Yeah, he is an expert. But like, here's the thing: like, you want to make an argument for like 2 years being violent. Correct, absolutely. Don't gender it, because most 2-year-olds are violent. That's not a gendered issue. That's just more like 2-year-olds are violent. But that's because of a lack of understanding, blah, 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 and all these social repercussions or the social manifestation of like consequences hasn't happened yet. But he understands that. That's why I don't give him too much shit on that.
He can just be talking colloquially.
Yeah. And this is also skipping clips, so I'm not giving Peterson way more shit than I would normally.
Yeah.
Like, these are snippets, so I'm just like, yeah, I'm gonna listen to them as much as I can, but if there's something that I think is a bit wrong, I'm gonna say something.
Yeah, but we're not covering it.
Yeah.
On with the show.
Yeah, on with it.
Obviously, the dark side of men has a dark political edge. Why wouldn't the dark side of women have a dark political edge? But I can't help seeing it. I see it. I think that's the reputation destruction that's characteristic of social media, seems to be. I mean, I saw it when girls went after my daughter.
Happened before. happened before social media.
on social media
Will
they use
happen way
reputation
after social
destruction, and it
media.
can be unbelievably vicious. Well, you said you've been attacked plenty online. It's also possible that, you know, there's a large proportion of
Yeah, man. What do you do when you're attacked? Does it ever hurt you?
Sorry, say that again, Gabriel.
It wasn't even paying attention.
When the times you've been attacked online, does it hurt you?
Every time
Peter
Peterson's talking, she's just like, nope.
Has it hurt me? Sometimes it's hurt me. It's hurt me when I felt that I
Not making a case for them, though.
Yeah.
He's just speaking matter of
but
fact.
Just random people that I don't know throwing insults at me doesn't hurt me. I just think it's quite funny.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't acknowledge anything Peter just said.
Close to those.
No, he didn't.
Right.
And we're just not going to do that. We're not going to acknowledge the thing we just made us listen to. Cool.
Yeah.
Whatever. She's definitely just like checked out at this point. She's just reading the chats, and like at this point, I was in the chat. People were saying crazy shit about her, but like that's all she's doing at the moment. And instead of acknowledging it, she has to bring it back to a conversation about herself, because it's just like, okay, cool. Instead of like acknowledging what Peter just said and be like, oh, I disagree or I agree. Which would be
there definitely was a point when they started when he started talking about does she feel like like the character assassination thing, you could feel there's like some pause about, oh shit.
Yeah, it's like, is he coming at me? And then it's just like, oh no, it's a Peterson clip. But it's like whatever at this point.
A little bit of him and Han, but
yeah. All right. Let's continue.
Right. That could be a gut punch, as they say.
Men who use reputation destruction too online. So I wouldn't say that this is something limited to women by any stretch of the imagination, but I do know that those two patterns of antisocial behavior exist. So, and that one doesn't scale. So that is a relevant issue. You were asked about body image, or commented on body image. You know, a lot of people think that that's a consequence of social pressure.
What does this have
body
to do?
Image trouble? And I don't think there's any evidence for that, by the way.
Really?
Yeah, well,
oh God.
Women are more likely to have body image problems than men.
Right.
Okay, so that's the first thing. So, and that's likely because body morphology is more important in mating choice for women than it is for men.
Jesus Christ.
Men tend to prefer women who
gender conversations are such a waste of time, dude. Now keep going. I don't want to sit here longer than I have to listening to this fucker. If I just play it.
That's associated with youth.
These are just a waste of time.
Symmetry. So symmetry is very, very important as a marker of beauty. So we tend to see symmetrical.
This is a bigger waste of time than me writing out all these notes for the stream.
0.68. That seems to be relatively standard culturally, regardless of body size. Is more dangerous to them, and they have to be more threat sensitive, maybe because they take care of infants. And so, you know, one question, I've never discussed this, I don't think, online. Women become more sensitive to negative emotion than men when they hit puberty, not before. And it never goes away after that. Right. So it's a permanent transformation.
Even after menopause, just like.
Yeah, well, the men and women get more stable emotionally as they get older, but the difference between men and women doesn't seem to attenuate. And so women became.
Why does everything have to become a gender conversation?
Vulnerable at puberty. So that might be one reason why they would be more sensitive to danger.
I don't get this. I'll never get this. Keep going. Don't pause this, dude. Keep going. I don't want to sit here longer.
Right. I mean, there's.
Hey, Hornet, I am going to hop off, though. You know what I got to take care of.
Sure.
Right. There's plenty of places where
later, everybody.
Later.
Make you a valid target, even.
Right.
Right. And I would say that's probably more the norm for human societies than the exception. You know, we assume that our relatively safe environments are normal. They're not. They took a lot of work to get safe, like so much work that it's almost incomprehensible. There's just so many things we take for granted that make up that safety that are invisible because it's mostly there.
Mhm.
But I also wonder possibly if women's nervous systems are optimized for the woman-child dyad and not for the woman.
Again, don't know what this has
So
to do with
imagine
what
that,
they're
well,
talking
if you have
about.
a baby, you're definitely more vulnerable.
Right.
Bryce, do you
And
know
so
what this has to
perhaps
do
your
with
nervous
what they're
system
talking
should
about?
reflect that because you're the one making the decisions.
Am I the only one that's
Because
lost
women are
here?
more prone to
I think I'm the only one that's lost here. Like, what does this have to do with parasocial relationships? Social media being bad? I don't know why we're talking about genders. I don't get it. Maybe that's just me. Maybe my brain isn't big enough to actually understand what this actually has to do with the thing, but keep going.
anxiety disorders and depression than men. That seems true cross-culture, and it goes along with that sensitivity to negative emotion. You think, what's the advantage to that? Because it causes a lot of suffering. It's also a good predictor of marital instability because higher levels of negative emotion predict, well, unhappiness. It's certainly possible that women's nervous systems, adult women's, are optimized for the child, for the infant mother dyad. I mean, why would we expect it to be other than that? Because a baby is so unbelievably dependent. You have to be more cautious once you have an infant, especially one under 1 year old.
What are the positives of anxiety?
You're more likely to stay away from danger.
Based and true.
Interesting, right?
Yeah.
Interesting, right? What's so interesting about it?
So moving forward for this year, I've got the channel.
We're not going to talk about it? Cool.
I'm not sure how much work I'm going to be doing on the channel, but I'll definitely be doing things externally to do with the platform.
We're not going to touch on it.
You say you're going to do things externally, meaning what you mean by that?
Showed me that for no reason. Based.
Oh, okay. You mean life stuff, huh?
Yeah, real life stuff, like I've already mentioned, So that's been my inspiration. And if it's come, it's come with hate, then it comes with hate. It is what it is. I know. Go on.
Go ahead.
I know that I'm going to be trying to lobby for positive change. If people don't like,
you don't even know the change you're lobbying for. I think I pointed that out very well tonight.
That's their problem, not mine.
Yeah, Mel, how long have you been on YouTube? Not that long, right?
No. I about 2.5 years.
So in 2.5 years, you got like 4,000 sub. Damn. That's a lot.
Yeah, because obviously the channel, I never had any intention of creating a channel. It just happened. And then it became what it became. And, I enjoyed my channel. I enjoyed doing everything. But I already knew before going on my trip abroad that I was going to have to come off because I told you I got a full-time position. So I already knew before I even went on holiday that I was going to have to step back.
Sure you did. That's why you had like a month worth of streams planned. Yeah, we believe you.
Other stuff. I'm not.
It's not like we have evidence to the contrary.
Repeating the same stuff.
Yeah, the more high roading is just too high.
Only so much stuff you can talk about.
What do you mean?
Like, because you said repeating the same stuff.
Yeah, no, I don't. Talking about subjects is great, but
I just think that we're on the more high roading part of this stream.
I want to do more.
Talk for.
Oh no, keep going. Let it play. I'm just talking over them at this point because it's not even worth stopping and pausing.
Positive change.
I'm trying.
Yeah. We reached that point where it's just like this isn't even worth it.
That's what's inspired me this year to study. Like I said already, I want to write a dissertation or a thesis on my experience.
Figure out the difference and then let us know.
I want to try and do more than that, and that's me just personally, just being on YouTube year after year after year after year. If people that do that, great, whatever. Everybody's entitled to has their own opinion, is entitled to.
Yes, Mel, you are better than most of us. Fantastic.
Right. And before I bring this OG on, let me remind you who our sponsor is tonight.
Today's broadcast is brought to you by The Powdered Dusty.
What's going on? TML, the legend.
Paste
Hi,
Powder
darling.
Dusty
brother?
for providing us with this dissection
Goonies
of
friends, what's going
this
on?
shit. Because
Yeah, man.
Oh my God.
Parasocial experiences.
listen, we're gonna let it.
Digital
Mel
experience.
Pandora.
I'm gonna give them a little bit more because I want to hear what the
Mhm.
machine lies says, and then
Watch
we'll
this.
end it there.
Machine Light, what kind of parasocial experiences have you had? I'm curious.
Oh, I've had all kinds. Yeah,
We're
I
all
think all kinds,
creatives here,
almost
right?
everything. Yeah, I mean, almost everything you mentioned, I've experienced. You know, so I've been able to piss a lot of people off. I've been able to, you know, even create controversial material. You know, I think considered by some even be censored, and all of that type of stuff. So yeah, so I've engaged in, I think a high level of memeing. I think some of my memes have been stolen by, you know, top level figures.
Mhm.
Oh, we were
You know,
back
like
on the
recently I made
illusion
a
of
joke,
grandeur.
we was
Fantastic.
Vikings instead of we was kings. You know,
Okay.
and that got stolen by, you know, that joke got stolen by,
Fantastic.
you know, major
We've
dudes
gone full
like
circle.
Alex Jones and stuff. You know,
Really?
so yeah.
Damn.
So it spread around.
Yeah.
But yeah,
That's,
you could
I
spread.
mean, yeah, that's. I mean, it all relates to the parasocial relationships. And I remember we were talking recently, and you were telling me these points about like the social relationship in media. It's the new form of
What's-
media, and you're the product.
What?
Can you,
Oh yeah.
can you fucking
We're
cook
the
on that for a
product?
minute?
Since
Oh
when?
yeah. Yeah, I was saying that, you know, basically in social media, you're the product. You know, essentially, you know, it's a form of corporate espionage. You know, so it's
Mhm.
telecommunications.
All right.
companies,
All right.
collecting
That's it.
information on
Vice.
people.
Vice. Pause it.
You know,
We're done. We're done. We're done. When someone says corporate espionage, we leave. Because that means we are headed down the most brain dead fucking argument we could actually ever hear in our life. So, with that, we have reached the end of this dissection of the Mel Pandora parasocial activity movie that the Powder Dusty has provided us with. Thank you to the Powder Dusty for sponsoring that stream and giving us the opportunity to actually see this shit go down. So, base mods. Yeah, I hope you guys at least took away like some of the argumentations, and if she's watching, I hope you actually learned how to actually formulate your thoughts a bit better before you decide to go taking any level of legislation on, because you are a dumb bitch at the moment and should figure out that you should read a little bit before you try to pass yourself off as an expert, because some people will take that very unkindly, such as myself and a lot of other people. So, Vice, any closing words for the chat or the dumb bitch?
Sue Hornet, and make sure to like and subscribe to the channel.
Based. If you're gonna come after me, do it. I'm waiting for it. I'm here for it. I'm down for all of it. But
Well,
yeah,
first she needs to look up a lawyer. She can't even do that.
shh, don't tell her how to do it. I know I did in the stream, but she's not gonna watch all 3 hours of this or 4 hours of me fucking shitting on her. So yeah, good luck with that. Hopefully YouTube gets you in contact with a lawyer or something. I don't know. But with that, thank you, chat, for sitting through this. I know the stream was laggy as fuck today. I kind of corrected out towards the end. Sorry, couldn't really do anything about that. Just bad connection today. But thank you for sitting through that, and I greatly appreciate you guys coming. Remember to hit the like button, subscribe, and all that, as Vice has said. And with that, we will be seeing you next Tuesday.